right. Well, we're here. There's 50 of you already waiting for this to start. And we have a special guest, the man, the myth, the legend, that is Bernie Tomasetti, the manager of Powder Tools and Steamboat. Bernie, say what's up to the crew.
Me?
Yeah, you.
What's up, fuckos?
Yeah, exactly.
How
So
many
if you got
right now?
But if anyone's got questions for Bernie, get them in the chat box. We're going to try to do that. Eventually, we'll spin the wheel. I don't know. Maybe we won't. We'll see where this goes. Might go off the rails. Bernie likes going off rails. So,
fuck yeah, I'm from Philly, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Grease the poles, right?
Yeah, dude. I went to public school.
So did I. That's not a good thing. So, anyways, but we do have the 30th anniversary of Powder Tools coming up, as well as the 10th anniversary of Slash and Burn. So Bernie's going to kind of talk a little bit about that and what that means in the world of snowboarding. So we'll let him just kind of discuss that, and then we'll kind of take some questions, talk some shop stories. He can talk all about how TC was as an employee.
I used to get a tax break for hiring him. It was like Gary's Kids, like, you know, one of those outreach foundations just for special people.
He is very remedial, isn't he?
He's extremely remedial. I mean, that's like my favorite word right now is remedial.
He's not allowed to say retard anymore.
Even though I was talking about like retarding the timing on my car and shit, but people didn't believe me. What do I know? I just been tuning cars in my life.
Yeah, there you go. So anyways, but yeah, 10 years of Slash and Burn. What should people know about the contest? How do they sign up? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, this year it is, I can't believe already it's been 10 years of making little girls cry. Started in 2014 at Howelson, and just watching people try to ride the Palma up the steepest face in the oldest resort in the country was pretty awesome. So me and Peterson and the boys always had an over-under, how many would eat shit on the goddamn thing. Always take the over, just a heads up. But yeah, we started Slash and Burn 2014. It was a collab between myself, Jake Jarvis, Alex Pashley, Tori Koski, now Tori Billings, and Eric Go For It Ludwig. And there's been a lot of help with the friends who couldn't do it. I mean, it takes a village to make it happen. It's a lot. There's 400 competitors. We made it happen within 2 weeks. In the first year, we had 179 people show up within 2 weeks. And it just kind of snowballed from there with the side bets and bragging rights. And I can go forever. And now this year, too, is 93 is when Powder Tools, we got our first brick and mortar. So it's our 30-year anniversary for that. And our founder is that fucking maniac Polak. One of my favorite people in the world is Johan, who is a founding partner of C3, Capita Coal Union. So all the boys are coming out. Side bet board is going to be fucking off the hook this year. And there's no welching, and I have the board right here with people's names on it. I mean, there's Coolin Darcy has my name tattooed on his body, and my wife doesn't even have my name tattooed on her body. He also had to lick the door handle of my shop for 8 seconds. And that was the year that we shut it down for COVID, where I was on stage getting the mic. Zora comes up to me, they're like, yo, Burn, if you're done, I'm like, hey, I'm about to do freaking awards over here. Like, do it. I need to get the fuck out of here. And so we were the last event in the country that shut down that day. As soon as I put the microphone down, that we forced Darcy to lick the door handle of my store for 8 seconds. And Beeve has an awesome picture. And I actually have it on the phone. And he never got sick. So, hey.
That's a strong immune system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't test for it, you don't get it, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Both my parents had it over Christmas, and I kept testing negative. So,
I mean, we went to public school. What the fuck?
Yeah, went to public school in a building full of asbestos and lead paint and radon gas next to the Amish.
Yeah.
Don't see many Amish on the streets of Philly, do you?
Oh, I mean, well, it's funny you say that, actually, because they actually made the front page of the Philly paper back, it was probably 99, 2000, right before I moved to Steamboat 20-something years ago. That was called Horse and Druggies. The Amish were actually cooking meth and selling it to the pagan biker gang. And on the front page of the paper, were guys in their cuts and their Harleys and getting drugs from literally Amish people in their horse and buggy, like handing off a ton of meth. It was called Horse and Drug. They still had that front page of the Philly paper, but they make great drugs, obviously, you know.
Clearly they know what they're doing. I mean, those guys put in a 36-hour workday.
Yeah, who's gonna fuck with those guys? They're fucking crazy.
Yeah. Maybe you should hire a bunch of them for the shop to run the tuning program. They'll hand tune everything.
I mean, it'll be a long horse and buggy ride over a bunch of passes to get here, but hey, I'm into it. We can sponsor for it. But I guess if they're cooking meth, they got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amish meth, I mean, who would have thought, right?
It's pure.
It's very pure. Yeah. All right. So we got this question here from Nick Ludwig. I heard TC partied with Party Marty from Philly. Is that the hardest he's ever partied? And has he recovered yet?
No, I'm going to let TC obviously answer this, but Nick, that is my partner of Chaos Skateboards.
Oh, nice.
And so his brother, his parents, we put them through a lot of shit, but Nick, we grew up around the corner from each other, and I've known him since he was in diapers. So this is family right here, and he'll be here tomorrow. So
nice.
TC, you let boys know how Party Marty ruined you. And he is a year older than me, about 60 pounds overweight from sea level. Just to let you guys know what he's about to talk about. Go for it.
Yeah, so the boys come into town, and I'm hanging out with Bernie and all of his boys and everything. We go out to dinner. I'm sitting next to Party Marty, and he's just like slugging back whiskeys. And we keep drinking. Go back to Bernie's place, and we're up until probably 4 a.m. drinking like whiskey. And Bernie's got like some really nice scotch. It's like a mystery scotch for the year. And me and him finished like that whole bottle. I'm like trying to sleep because I have to work the next day. It's like 4 a.m. And then he's like, "Don't worry, man. I got something for you. It'll put you to bed." He turns on the fucking Grateful Dead.
Oh, God.
And just turns it up and then proceeds to fall asleep within 2 seconds of turning it on. And this guy snores so loud that like you can hear him from the basement all the way upstairs at Bernie's house. And it's 3 levels. And you can hear it all the way upstairs. And it's like, just shut the hell up. And then I had to go to work the next day. So I hopped on the bus, get to work, had to buy a shirt from the shop because I was still wearing the same clothes from the next day. And then get off of work at like 7 or 8, whatever. And then just do the whole thing all over again. And by the next day, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And like had to hibernate for like 2 days after that. And it was my 2 off days. But yeah, I have recovered. I am getting ready for Marty to come back in the summer. I think I can handle it a little better in the summer that I don't have to work 12 hours. But, you know, we'll figure it out when he comes back.
Off. I will literally. Oh, Marty's coming. Have fun. I'll see you in a week.
Yeah.
He did pep talk in the morning. He told you to slide over on the couch while he got his coffee and said, "You're working there, kid. I'm proud of you."
Yeah. Love Party Marty. Love Nick Luddy. He's the shit. Might try to hop up there this weekend or something and see you guys.
Yeah, they get here.
Those guys rock.
Monday afternoon.
Sick.
Yeah, Nick will see you in 15 hours. That's a good one right there. So we got this one from our boy Waco. Bernie is real. I thought he is the man, the myth. He will be cucking Letters' wife. Just so you know, Bernie, Letters is one of our regulars on there. How do you feel about cucking?
Cucking?
Yeah, cucking. Like, do you believe in the cuck chair in the hotel? Like, what's going on? What's your take on that?
To me, that's weird, man. I mean, that's for people that you just pay girls to bang somebody else because you're so gnarly and pathetic. They don't want to bang you. It's if it was me and I was a chick, I'd make fun of them the whole time because that's how pathetic they are.
But maybe that's what they're into. That could be their kink.
I could, but I don't know. I mean, why pay for something you can't sample? That's weird. But
we're very big on cucking our fan base over here. Like, we'll tempt them with the wheel and the prize, but one of the things is you lose, you got cucked, next person wins. So you have to watch. You got the spin, but you lost to the person below you that got the prize. Like, you got.
That's fair.
I think it's hilarious.
But like, I'm married to a beautiful woman. I've been with Mandy for 20 years.
This is true.
Some people say she married up.
Nobody says that. You married up. Everybody knows that.
She's in the other room right now, so.
I'm still convinced that she lost a slash and burn bet, even though there wasn't slash and burn, and that's how you got married.
Yeah, I mean, I still tease her to this day that she married me for the snowboard hookup, which I'm cool with.
Hey, you know, as long as you're cool with it, it's great. You know? Let's see. TC, we got one for you from our boy Stuff I Find Interesting. Did you star in Lobster's video, We Are Losers?
No, that was my brother
twice from YouTube. They've pulled that, yeah, for copyright infringement and other shit, I guess.
They didn't pay for the music.
Probably didn't pay for a bunch of the footage that's in it. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that one yet, though. Have you guys seen it?
I've seen parts.
Okay.
Like, it was a big year for movies this year. Like,
dude, I know Rad just dropped another one.
Yeah, Radar just dropped.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish we still had hard copies. So.
Dude.
I tell you what, I'll figure out how to rip them all into a flash drive for you, and that'll be your new hard copy.
All right, that's fair. I mean, that's legit. Like, that's as hard as you're going to get.
And then what I'll do is I'll go get one of those like burn CDs, and all I'll do is burn my Clue review, so it's on repeat for 500 hours.
I mean, I had a couple things come in the last week and a half to the shop. Those things are remedial as fuck. This is gonna hurt it's gonna hurt me saying this because, as you guys obviously know, I'm a huge German car nerdo, and those being in Germany, that had to be like the remedial they like found that dropped out of or got kicked out of public school and he just been in a cage. I don't know. It has like some brain damage. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen a lot of shit.
Well, do you think that these? So, as someone that has been a character witness in a class action lawsuit, do you think that these are a lawsuit waiting to happen?
Oh, 100%. I mean, like somebody lost a high back the other day. I mean,
how the fuck do you lose a high back? They're strapped to your feet.
I don't know, man. He had both his feet on still, so it's kind of crazy. I mean, TC's been worked the shop for a long time. On like a really slow day, we fixed 20 bindings before launch.
Yeah.
Right. It's out of control, and the people that lose things, it's mind blowing. Like full ankle straps, high backs. I'm like, how'd you lose it? I don't know, man. It's always just riding along. I'm like, when's the last time you checked the lug nuts on your car? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, you should probably freaking check those.
Yeah. Like,
if it can break, I've probably seen it hundreds of thousands of times. It's out of control. Like, we were the ER snowboards. We see more shit than anyone in the world. I can guarantee it.
Dude, you're just doing triage right there.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I get to laugh at remedials all day too, so it's kind of fun. Yeah. And most people like TC knows, and they walk in like, "What'd you break?" They're like, "Oh,
yeah." I was just riding along, and my snowboard just broke.
Just broke, man.
Yeah.
Just broke.
Oh man.
Can you warranty this for me, dude? It's in 2 pieces.
No, you still have tree bark in it and rocks. Like I could see it. Yep. It's stuck in the base.
My buddy, I just sold him an Osmo, and he's a very close friend of mine. He's like, "Hey, can you warranty this for me?" Took some pictures. I'm like, "Yeah, bro, send me." And I'm like, I just was on my phone. It was like I was out and about. Had some people in town, like Cook and Bachman were here. I'm like, I don't know. I'll see if it's D-Lamb. And I sent it to like Wole and the boys and D and Breck, and they're like, "Hey, man, it looks like Impact." I'm like, it's like, and I couldn't see it on the computer in front of my face yet, so. Hit up my buddy, brought it in. There was still tree inside the sidewall. It's still, it was like an aspen or a pine tree. It was kind of funny.
Oh, dude, I got a comment. I got a comment yesterday from a guy on the Yes Standard on Ink review, and he's like, "Yes is a shitty company. Third run on this board. I took a tumble and the nose de-lammed and the edge popped out." So I was like, "Sounds like you hit some shit, bud." And he's like, "I've hit plenty of shit in my day. This thing still should be warranted." And I was like, "You just admitted you fucking hit a rock, you turd."
Yeah, and that board's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, "They're a shit company." And I was like, "I'm sorry, dude. Did you just like go to the dealership, buy a car, and as you're pulling out, smoke a deer right in front of it and be like, this is a warranty issue?"
Yeah, absolutely. It's like if I smash my R into a wall, it's not B-Dub's fault. That's my dumbass's fault.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just like, some of that shit.
At least you get a good laugh out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, we're going to give this man a spin anyways. See if we get anything. Who knows? The wheel turns. It's the wheel of misfortune. Oh, yeah. Click the links. So down in the description, we do have the link to register for Slash and Burn up at P-Tools.
That's on my personal Instagram account. It's on the shop's Instagram account. It's on Eventbrite, so you just look up Steamboat. There's a link there. I also have a Slash and Burn Insta that I'm trying to stop kind of using because I have my personal Insta. I have the shop Insta, shop Facebook, Slash and Burn. Also, Luddy and I have Chaos as well. It's overwhelming, and Mandy wants to kill me because she's so light and my phone just blows up all day. It's kind of overwhelming, so I'm trying to kind of push it over to either my personal and the shop one for now until I'm going to still post stuff on Slash and Burn. But if I don't answer back, it's because I have so much of it and my phone never stops blowing up from people asking me for free stuff. And I need to keep my wife and my, it's kind of overwhelming.
That's funny. Yeah, I know what that's like. Try running a meme account.
Oh, it's good. Yours has been gold, man. I'm a big fan.
I know you are. I see you guys reposting.
Oh, always. Now I gave Harrison, Harold the Grizzly Gobbler world champion has access to P-Tools Insta and Facebook. So if you're chit chatting, you're probably getting him. Sometimes I'll chirp in because chirping's awesome.
All right. So we actually got a super chat from our boy Letters for You, Bernie. And it's what's your number one tip for edges or God forbid waxing?
I mean, just the tip? I mean,
just the
wax
tip.
I mean, tip for edges for
edges. Yeah.
I mean, you can come in and I could do it on machine or hand tune it, but I run everything at the shop at a 1-in-1 degree bevel. And always wax your board, man. I mean, getting stuck in a flat sucks. You look like an asshole. But I always run graphite wax, and then I might blend a little bit of ultra cold or spring when it calls for it. But when people blend all temp and graphite together, it's the same freaking temperature. But I edge my board almost every single day before I walk out the shop. You can shave your balls with my board because I'm an East Coaster. And there's no such thing as ice here except for housing at the rink and waxing. I mean, if you're getting passed by some kook on a cat track, dude, you better just go cry and jerk off with your own tears. That's pathetic.
Hey, man, I only did that once.
Yeah, but I got to wax. That means I'm tough, I guess, huh?
Yeah, you're tough.
But wax your shit, man. Wax it because you'll ruin your board. And your board always needs to be waxed, especially with certain temps, certain cold. You can go about a week depending on what your base is made out of, but I run ultra premium boards from Ride with World Cup race based stuff. And in the spring, I literally wax my board every single day because you have to. That's why it's special because it's dumping that wax all the time.
Here's a question for you, sir. Do you have any old high fluorocarbon wax sitting around since they seem to have outlawed that?
Yeah, put it in a sock metallic spray paint back in the day, bro.
Yeah, let's give this man a spin, and then we're gonna talk a few more things here. Oh shit, homeboy won himself a small sticker pack. You know how to claim it. Email me. I'll get that to you. Well, yep. TC will. I don't handle that shit anymore. That's a TC job.
The mailman.
Mailman.
Bunch sitting right there.
I mean, that nickname I gave him back in the day, I mean, that shit fucking stuck, and now he owns it. I love it. People don't even know his real name. People ask me, yeah, what's his name? It's Undercheeks, Cheeks, or TC. They're seriously? I'm seriously, that's what it is.
Yep.
And I hired him because we have a mutual friend, Smooches. So, hey.
That's all good, though. I mean, I think that absolutely works out. So, we got this question from Peter Dabrowski. Got a sneak peek of next year's catalog and noticed, yes, we'll be merging with Lobster, as well as discontinuing the hybrid. thoughts on the merger? Direction of yes. What do you think, Bernie?
You know, I mean, they got to do something. There's a lot of moving parts in the industry. I think Yes is a great brand. Lobster has some potential. It makes sense as a business standpoint. A lot of people don't understand the business side of the counter and not the retailer side. It's not the 90s anymore where everybody's shit was the same. It was terrible. You had people like us, like helping design things. They had to smoke like 6 blunts in one day. And then it moved to they can kind of afford like an engineer, but the engineer didn't snowboard and things were lost in translation. And now there's brands like all this insane shit that's behind me from Ride. Not that shit, dude. That's it's German. And I hate it. But like now you have brands like, just for example, like Ride, like K2, where they own their own factory. They have prototype facilities inside their office. And you can like make things like, I'll go up there with the boys and hanging out with Steph, Troy, like big gym, all in-house, have some drinks, design stuff. The next day we're making it and going to ride it. And you get to choose all of your top materials. Like you have to pick your cores, your bases, your steel, and you have guys who are ex-sponsored snowboarders that went back to school and have masters in engineering. And so like a $300 ride board is worth like, you know, like it's better than $1,000 off-brand shit. And it's like facts. They have to take the scraps left over, knots in it, shitty like cores, shitty sidewalls, and all that, dude. It's like it's you see stuff like some brands don't even base grind their boards. So when I sell shit at my store, $1,200-$1,300 decks, and I have to give it a full tune before I have to sell it. I mean, to me, that's embarrassing, man. Like it's like you want the small guys, but you have to have somebody help them out to make it good. I mean, look at what the mothership has done for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like Johan and like Blue helping people out, and our buddy Gavin running the mothership. They're helping people see good brands, and they believe in the people that are with these brands and owning and running them and helping them stay alive. But the small brands, they come and go, and it's sad, but there's a reason for it that we don't carry them at the stores. Like, how do I bring in a small brand to my store when I have another brand over there that I sell 300 other decks in a season and roll the dice? I mean, the proof's in the pudding, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they need it. They have to.
I mean that's exactly cool. TC, what do you think about this merger?
Honestly, I mean, I think it's good. Like, just because now and Lobster, like you said before, Bernie, like if you put them all into one thing, it kind of gives it more brand recognition. It makes the line a little bit bigger. It has something for everybody, as opposed to Yes before, I think, was definitely just a rider driven brand for like that intermediate to advanced rider completely. Like they did have like the basic, but still on a basic, like it's not going to be super user friendly. Like an intermediate to advanced is still going to like that board. So this way it gives them a little bit more range, I think, in the industry, and kind of helps them out. And after looking at the catalog, like everything makes sense. Yeah. I think, in like my opinion, like it all makes sense to have it the way it is. And when we first were told about it, it was like, yeah, like they're going to cut the line, they're going to do this. And then they ended up not doing any of that and like just expanding everything. And you're like, it all looks really good. It all makes sense. Like, yeah, it's bummer that they got rid of the hybrid, but I think they came up with something instead of that. So, I mean, I'd be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Models come and go. I mean, look what happened when, you know, that whole umbrella started years ago. We were like, you're probably still working at the shop when the whole thing happened, like when it was Jones, Yes, Slash, and Now. And it was great. And Giggy had Slash, and then Pashley like was with him and helped him do all that. And they had really good technology like React Flex on the Paxson board where you would ride it. And like, it was crazy when Plow was repping them and just taking from the Gandhi halfway down bag, like, the board's soft, and you know what kind of boards I like to ride, like full camber, aggressive, quadratic boards, and it's like super soft. But when I would turn it, the edge would actually like go like this and go in the ground to hold an edge. And when you would like come up and board slide a rail, the edge would come up like a skate deck, and you could slide it, and it worked. But then he wanted to go out on his own, and he left the Nidecker umbrella where they own the patent to that, and so he couldn't do it anymore. And it went to enough factory. We sold a lot of Slash boards. They were great, like the Brainstorm, the ATV, like all that stuff. And then the next year, it wasn't that good anymore. And I hate to say that because you'd even scrape the board. You felt every die cut and was selling a ton. They sold 200 boards in the country the next year because
I remember that.
It was brutal. And like, dude, he's my guy, and he's a great dude. I want to support him. But when customers are coming back and spending $600 for a deck of the same model for the next year, it's not the same board at all.
No, because they moved the stuff to Benetek in Tunisia, and the boards ride heavier. And that's it.
They do.
To me, the weird thing is putting Lobster into Yes instead of just pushing it into Battalion, because that one was weird. Like putting Now into Yes made more sense to me than Lobster going into Yes.
Right, yeah, and Battalion guys are freaking out because, man, my guy, Michael Chilton, who is the head engineer for Ride Forever, he's one of my best friends in the world. Like him and Paul McGinty, who was the engineer before him, who now like puts people in SpaceX. He was a designer for full carbon for Audi, Volkswagen, and all that stuff. Those two guys have been building my boards forever, and the two smartest guys I've ever met and become some of my best friends in the world. He got offered a ton of money to go over to Battalion, and Big Jim, who runs Ride, he's like, dude, like, I can't offer you that. You're one of my best friends. You got a family now. Like, have at it. There's no, like, we're going to miss the shit out of you. But he has some big things to offer. You want to get his family out of Seattle. And Battalion is like, yo, what's this guy doing? Like, that's the smartest guy in the world. And he's one of the best snowboarders in the world, too. So you're going to see a lot of cool stuff coming out. But unfortunately, like, I mean, obviously me and Chilton are still homies for life. But I'm curious about where it's going to go because, like, at Battalion, I get asked for him, but me and where my location is, like, that's not my market. I mean, I want to be able to hold an edge, not like, you know, I had some guy try to tell me yesterday that a Gilson's better than this. I mean, like, it's crazy. Like, you know, like this all next year's stuff. I mean, this whole thing, it's like you got the moderator, you got next year's freaking like bench warmer. I mean, there's more math in that than I did my whole life in school.
Wait, how do you feel being from Pennsylvania and Gilson being there from Pennsylvania? Yeah, you know, like, so did I ever tell you I cut a Gilson in half?
I mean, you just like karate chop it because I probably would do that.
No, like here. So I actually cut one completely in half, and I know like this isn't the best way to look at it, but it's actually because they don't have like a good 3D CNC machine. The core is thicker on this side than it is on this side for their 3D printing. So they're not even level. Like, and you look at it. Yeah, like this thing, like, fuck, man. It's like straight trash.
Crazy. Like, I called it out because when they first were at the trade show years ago, and like one of my best friends, like Sean Penrod, who used to be with Ride forever and helped me get to where I am right now, they were coming after him, was on the DL back in the days. Like, yo, Burton, can you just like go take a look at this brand and maybe ride a couple boards? I'm like, yeah, bro, I got you. And like I broke that board down within 20 minutes, like how you tune it. And then when I went to mount it up and take a ride, I went to the homies at the tents. I'm like, yo, this is at Copper, I believe. I'm like, yeah, you don't see me in like 20-ish minutes, like call an ambulance and like come find me. It was the most terrifying board I've ridden in my life. And I've been riding for over 30 years, and I average like 150 something days a year just at Steamboat. And then wherever else I go. But I mean, shit, man, that is ridiculous.
Did I ever tell you what happened to me the first year that they were at the trade show? I pulled one of their boards off. They had like the display and they had their stupid little Airstream. So I pulled the board off and I'm looking at it and I flex it and I snapped the tail. I just cracked it and I like looked around and no one saw me. So I put it back in the little rack that it was in. And I'm like, just sort of like, okay, I'm going to just like skedaddle. And this dude comes out and he's like, oh man, these are like and dude, he just got booger sugar like coming out of his nose.
Marty?
I'm pretty sure he was snorting fentanyl, but whatever. And he's just sitting there and he's telling me all about how great their boards are. He pulls the board out of the rack, he flexes it, and when he does it, the top sheet bulges and like the base pops right where I cracked it. And he's like, and I was like, that doesn't look good. what just happened? Did that board just break? I was like, I don't want to ride this. And I like just scurried away. And I was like, and let him believe that he broke his board. But I was like, God, the quality on these things is such ass.
And that's the thing about, like, in my position, like having the shop at the base of World Class Resort, 30-year anniversary, and everything that we buy, like how Jarvis and I built that place for our whole life. I mean, I spent more time in that shop than anywhere else in my life, including the house I grew up in. I mean, that's my blood. Like, my name's pretty much on that sign, and I don't want to give somebody a product that I don't want, you know. And like having that come back, like, who am I? Like, somebody comes up here to our destination, and that's just mean, and they spent whatever, how much money it is for a lift ticket, and I'm selling trash. I mean, if I want trash, like, I'm going to go under K&A in Philly and buy some heroin with the rest of the zombies over there. You know, like, it's brutal. I don't believe in it, and like, I don't have a conscience to do that. You know, like, I can't. Like, we don't carry for a reason. If we don't have it, you don't fucking want it. There are other great brands out there, but I can't carry everything, and I don't want to compete with my homies in town. Like, I don't carry things to respect my other brothers and sisters who own and run business like myself. Cross street, downtown, whatever. Like, that's fam. And like, we send people to them, just like Steve at Gravity, the boys at Radio, like my buddy Max, like over at Milo. Like, we're all fam, dude. Like, you gotta help each other out. But that's
no, that's the whole thing. Like, I always try to push people to the core shops and stuff, and I always love it when they're like, well, they don't carry this brand, and I was like, did you ever think that there's a reason for that?
Yeah,
like, you know,
there is, you know.
Well, it's funny. I've been talking to this company from France called Borealis, and they're like, could you like talk to some of the shops you work with to get us in there? And I was like, that's not my job. And if the shops don't want you, that should say something. Like, your boards are cool and it's fun to ride them, but if the shop, like, it's not my job to get you in the shop. That's your job. Like, my job is just to tell people about this product. And they're like, you know, we want to do it. And I was like, you know, maybe these shops don't want to carry you for a reason, and they don't want to hear it. You know, like, some people just don't want to hear it, and it's tough.
They don't put their homework. I mean, I had this guy come in like maybe 2 months ago. He had this little cute box with some shit in it, and he was trying to, it was like beanies and like keychains kind of bullshit, and it was like a beanie and a leather patch on the side with my logo on. I'm like, yo, where'd you pirate my logo from? And he's like, what? I'm like, where did you pirate my trademark logo? And he's like, Google. And he's like trying to do the beanies and stuff. And he's like, this is all American, not that China shit. I flipped the beanie inside out, said made in China. And asked him what his minimums and terms were. And he's like, terms? I'm like, yeah, like net 30, 60, 90, what like every brand gives me, because I'm a reputable business. And he's wanted COD like it was freaking 94. I'm like, so you want me to give you like 10 G's in cash when you come here? I was like, it doesn't work like that, homie. Get the hell out.
No. I mean, so I got a question. What's the worst product that someone has walked through the door and tried to sell to you on the spot on the sales floor?
Like this week or in general? I mean, there's been several. I mean, there's a couple that pop out. I mean, the Hella handle was one of them. That was pretty sick.
Yeah.
The Hella handle? What the fuck is that?
So Hella handle, it is shit. I'm just going to grab this real quick. So it's like a stomp pad you put on like here, and then it had a handle that would flip up, so you had something to carry it with, like a suitcase. I mean, if you want to do 6 suitcase methods, but it was literally a plastic stomp pad that would go on a board, and so when you're carrying it around, it got like a little handle. And on top of that, something that was kind of similar, but even more fucking ridiculous. And it sucks because it was like an older gentleman. He was cool as fuck. Clearly doesn't snowboard, but he had this piece of aluminum, like U kind of thing, like tubular. Yeah. And it had wing nuts on it where you would attach it between your bindings so you can carry your board around. And I'm like, what? He says, well, it's a handle, like, so you can carry your board. I'm like, well, what do you do with it when you're snowboarding? And also,
yeah,
bro. He's like, his head popped, and we spent all this time trying to like develop it, kind of like those Broko bindings. We still have it. And
yeah,
And it's funny because those guys thought I was an asshole. One, I am, but I know my fucking shit. And they were talking all the smack because they're like, you don't know what you're talking about, what you're doing. I was like, I don't know, man. Look where you're at right now. And it was like a day later, like all of us TC might have been there. Like the whole P-Tools crew were shredding like we always do in the park. And Homeboy fell over before the jump line at the top of the park, and he couldn't get back up. He's like all over the place. And that's like a slash and burn side bet that you have to ride those stupid things. But people try to reinvent the wheel and don't know what they're doing. I'm like, gimmicks don't sell, not in the real world. And people are going to get hurt, and it's not indemnified. And why do you want your binding to twist and turn? When I ride, I'm going to ride 810. I mean, it's aircraft aluminum with a carbon slime back on it.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing more responsive like that. Like the Union Atlas FC, like that's like big boy shit. And I don't want it to spin because I want to be able to push against it and load and harness all the energy and all the crazy shit I'm riding. And
dude, I got a great.
Adds probably shit. How much does it add? Maybe, I mean, easily like 10 pounds, like at least.
I think they're 8 pounds, but I got a great Broko story. So I'm dropping stuff off at the UPS store here in Breck. And one of the guys that works there is like a huge fan of what we do. And he's like, dude. And I was like, oh, yeah, here's some stickers. And he goes, I got to tell you something funny. You were talking about rotational bindings. The owners of Broko came in here because evidently they live in Breckenridge. I have never met them. I have no clue who the fuck they are because originally the idea came from Southern California. So they're probably pandemic refugees or some shit. So anyways, they're like, yeah, they came in and they were talking up the product and they like left 2 pairs. And we were like, what the fuck? We don't need these. The assistant manager looked at it and he goes, hang on, I got an idea for it. He screwed them onto a board, put them in the back where they have their wrap-up area for like Amazon returns. And he's like, dude, it's great. You put a box on it, you throw the shit in the box and you can spin it around like a lazy Susan and use it. They're the perfect size for small boxes. And he's like that's what we use it for.
Yeah, like that, dude, that's, I think where his head's at. I mean, that's genius. I mean, that guy's,
he turned some lemons into lemonade.
That's genius.
But I was like, oh, also, did you know Broko is going to be at the On Snow demo next week?
Oh shit.
They're claiming that they're going to be at Loveland on the 30th and 31st. And I really kind of want to go talk to them and film it and then just be like asking retarded, smooth brain, remedial questions and then just be like, and see if they catch on that I'm actually just doing it to troll them.
Yeah. I mean, David, you probably remember, what's it? Manic bindings, I want to say.
Oh my God.
You're sitting like full on like magnesium plates and like a coiler each corner. I'm like, well, what? And they didn't have like and I'm like, pretty cool. And I was like, what the hell is that? Like I was on the way to like another like meeting at the trade show to do like the buy, and I like stopped in my tracks and I'm like, what is that? I'm like, well, are you gonna be at the On Snow demo? He's like, no, we don't have any insurance. I'm like, so you came to an international trade show and spent X amount of dollars in the booth so nobody can ride.
Dude, and they had that big booth in the center. They paid $50,000 or $80,000 for it. Company was done in under a year.
Yeah, I mean, and you see things. I had somebody similar. I walked by and there was like guys from like some Cali place, I don't know, double take, like, oh, pretty cool. And I'm like, that's a 4x4 hole pattern. They're like, what? I'm like, nothing mounts to that anymore. Everyone's using mini disc at the time. Like, huh? I'm like, that's outdated, dude. Like, that is old school. And they all look at each other like, what? I'm like, it's a, like the other, the 2x4, like 4x2, I want to say it. Like, they have another insert. And they all looked at each other, started yelling at each other. I caused, like, just being honest, not being a dick. I'm like, the bindings I'm on, because at the time, Ride was only making, like, the mini discs.
Yeah.
With the Infinity chassis. And I'm like, my bindings don't fit that. Mine are state of the art. And they all were yelling at each other, spent like 50+ grand on the booth. And they don't even snowboard. They produce product for production that didn't work on anything that was in the house.
Oh, yeah. No, it was crazy. So
I
was walking through, and because they were at the 4-way of the trade show, I was trying to like get through to the other side. And this dude who was probably like 60 years old, white hair, business suit, he's like, let me tell you all about this, son. And I looked at it and I go, why would I ride something that's going to put me 2 inches higher?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, it does. And I was like, no. And I was like, and he kept arguing with me. And I was like, magnesium binding base plates crack in the cold, right? And he's like, what? And I was like, K2 used to have the V10 magnums that were magnesium, and almost every single one of them broke.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and he's like, you don't, and he told me, he goes, you don't know what you're talking about. And I go, I think I know what I'm talking about. This is my job. And he's like, well, we spent $150,000 developing this. And I was like, you could have taken that money and put it in an index fund and returned 7% on that in a year, and it would have been better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, they're great for like race car wheels, but you also race in the summer.
Yeah.
But when things change, flex, and that people don't understand when they're building and developing product, that things change in extreme temperatures. Like riding like in Breck that you guys deal with down in Summit, some days, I mean, we call Breck and fridge for a reason. Some days it's cold. And then when I go to Mount Hood with like the ride crew to develop product every summer for a couple of weeks, and I'm riding the glacier in July and August, sweating my dick off. I mean, boots change flex, bindings change flex, boards change flex, but you got to use certain materials so they don't and they don't break. It's dangerous, actually.
Oh yeah. No, I mean it's so funny. Like, you remember the first year that K2 started putting Harsh Mallow in their boards?
Oh hell yeah,
Slay blade and shit. You remember? So T-Door was designing for him back then. So they left all the boards because that was the Keystone demo. They left all the boards in Keystone, and it got down to like -10 that night. The next morning, they go to put me on a board, and I was like, yo, this thing is completely dead. And we took my bindings off, and we started tapping the Harsh Mallow, and it was just like donk, donk. We had to leave the board in the sun for an hour to warm up because that shit had compressed and frozen, and it was doing the exact opposite of what it was supposed to.
Yeah, because they had all those pads on top of the boards that you like had to compress to do it.
Yep.
I mean, the material works. They sort of put it in the boots. You know, like we just finally got like a couple years ago the Harsh Mallow stool that rolled your backs on. Like that was disgusting, but the material was like damn, it wouldn't bounce, which is cool. Yeah. But as far as adding it to a top sheet of a board, to me that it was weird. Like put it somewhere else. It's kind of like Ride uses double impact plates like inside their board, so you don't have to compress through it. And you know, it's like somebody like you guys and myself, we don't weigh a lot. Like I'm 160 something pounds, and like
you guys don't weigh a lot. I'm 200 plus.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice for once.
No, dude, I'm fat broke bitch, according to my haters. So we just need to own the fact that I'm 6 foot and 200 pounds, basically.
Yeah, but like you can compress it like more than I can. It's like Curtis and myself, like we have the same taste in like all the stuff behind me. But like I wear an 8.5 boot, you know, like I like boards that are like 24/6 at the waist. And I'm like 160, and he's like 225 of like a strong athlete, 6'4". So you have to build stuff for different people. Like that for me and him are completely different. Like I can't compress it. He's like, what just happened? My bindings are loose now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like this weird compression. And that's the thing. I try to explain to people, like when you size your board and everything, there's the weight range. If you're on the lower end of the weight range, the board's going to be a little stiffer. But if you're on the high end of the weight range, it's going to be a little softer. You want to be in that middle ground in there. And then the other thing is, are you riding reference stance, or are you going further out? Because that, or even further or closer together, it changes everything. And I try to explain that to people, and they're like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I invented Stretch Gore-Tex and I'm banger stance, bro.
Bernie over here with the 28-inch stance.
My max
T-Bolton
was 25. It's come in a little bit, you know.
Whew. Whew. I think the biggest I ever did.
The wedgie footbeds back in the day, man.
Yeah, well, the wedgies were cool because you could go wider, but because it would cant you back in correctly, so you could do it. But I think the biggest I ever did was 23, and then I tweaked my meniscus, and I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I was at 25 at one point. It was a joke up in Steamboat, like early 90s. It'd be like me and Jarvis and like the boys like sessioning the pipe. You looked at me like, my stance is wider, I win. And that was like cool. Like when Ladley and Saunders, like back in the day when they were both like riding pro for Solomon, when Pashley was the TM, they bring stacks of brand new boards in the wrapper. And I was literally T-bolting boards every night to like banger stances, and then taking 2 pieces of hardware and cheating it out as well. It was crazy. And people, that's why a lot of these park kids back then, until like in the recently thing going on, they couldn't even turn their board. They'd be skidding around in contact points.
Yeah.
Just to get to the park. And it was funny. Just taking a bag run down to Basher, they were like, couldn't even make the beach between the twigs kind of thing. It was funny. But I like a little wider stance and bow-legged. Right now I brought it in. I'm 22.5, 15, -15. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. I used to ride 22.5, 15, -15. Now I'm down to 21.5, 15, -12.
Dude, 20. What are you, some kind of child?
Dude, all my length is in my torso. My legs are stubby. My mom, that's 5'1", and I share the exact same seat position in the car.
And the toilet.
Dude, my dad can't get over it because he's like, I got in the car after you, and it's like your mother was in there. The only difference was the seat was reclined one click.
I used Mandy's truck today because it's full of snow and the boys come out tomorrow, so they get defrost it in the underground where I park my car. And holy shit, like her wheel, like couldn't even get in.
Just
and like to a pickup truck. It's kind of funny. It's weird, like driving that thing. It's like a monster truck, and her first gear only going like 15, where mine does like 50 something. It's like it's scary to drive. It's like rowing a goddamn boat.
You're just like, because she's got what, a Tacoma?
She drives a Tundra, 01 Tundra off-road package. Yeah,
gotcha.
She bought it when it was a year old. It's an 01. It actually was a pace car at a racetrack.
Ooh.
She's had that since high school. She's old enough to drink.
Shit, she likes old things. That must be why she married you.
No, I'm vintage. Relax.
Yes,
I'm vintage.
You're thrifting. She's thrifting.
Yeah. Yep. I'm a good come up, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's okay. We get older. Some things stay the same.
All right.
Yeah. All right. TC, you got any questions for the man?
Yeah. So actually, Curtis does. Funny thing, you mentioned him earlier. But Curtis asked, why should every board have a waist width of 260 millimeters?
Because they're remedial.
And also, is toe drag a myth?
Toe drag's a myth, bro. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't think there should be a board made in the world that's over 25, 2 to 3. Like, if they should actually be like 24/6 with the side cut of like 4/7 between the feet. Full camber, no rocker, pop. Yeah, I mean, you know,
The Gold Johns.
boy over here.
Yeah, the gold boot.
Yeah, only one in the world. You know, the golden shower.
Golden shower. Golden showers. So here's a question for you. How's it been having a Burton store right underneath you since you kicked Burton out of your store?
Bro, it's actually a live Jerry Springer every day for free. I don't even have to tune in. And the thing is, those guys are cool. Like, I try to help them out. Rachel, who runs all retail for Steamboat, that's my girl. I mean, we're the same age. We moved here the same year, like 24 years ago, party a lot. And I try to explain to them how many parts they need, that they're going to get their butts kicked every day. And we get a lot of business because they don't have the parts. They're all greenhorns, like they're wet behind the ear, and it's not their fault. The resort just didn't like do their research. And as you know, their support is trash.
Yeah.
You know, like I've seen, and it sucks because the Burton guys are really close friends. Like Royal, like he's my brother, like Mandy's brothers, like him, Anders used to work for Volcom. They all lived together in Crested Butte for over a decade and ran the border together. Like he's family. I see him more that he's not my rep than when he was my rep. And it's brutal. And the thing is, like, Bert and I have history. I moved to Steamboat with Burton like 20-something years ago. And because I'm an East Coaster, just like you are, they make good stuff. Jake was a really rad guy. Like, it was very fortunate that I got to know him on a personal level and shred with him. And he really liked his Don Julio. And then Donna ruined it. And then when they became the antichrist of snowboarding, it sucks. It breaks my heart. And I'm not necessarily a hater because I'm a hater on them. It's when you take stores like mine and other people that have been supporting you since the beginning, and they forgot where the hell they got there. I mean, a big thing for me is my buddy Josh used to own the Click down by Walmart and City Market, and he was a Burton Uninked dealer, coalition dealer, and all this stuff. He went deep with Burton because, as we all know, they force you to buy every category. They bully you around, that you have to carry all of it, go deep, right? And then I'll never forget this. The catalog that came to my house and the one that came to my business were different catalogs. And I called Leslie out on it when she came to my store to do a clinic that year. I'm like, hey, what is this? And on the, like, when you, I don't, for some people who don't know, when retailers like myself and everybody else, when you buy product, you have to sign contracts about MAP pricing, which is minimal advertised pricing. And if you break MAP, you lose your dealership. And it's a respect thing. And the reason for it, multiple reasons. One is protect the consumer from running all over the place, getting jerked around, you know, and two, to protect us. So we get to keep margins. So today, the only time you can discount your product is when their sales manager or somebody from that brand, no matter what brand it is when you can discount it. And the discount is up to them, not up to us as retailers, that you can advertise. And they were, when we got Step On and all that, they were selling it at 20% below retail, direct to consumer. And I wasn't on a discount, or I would lose my dealership, that I was a dealer since 93.
Yeah.
And so they put my buddy Josh out of business. He went bankrupt, lost 2 stores, lost his house. He's married with children. They tried to open a shop below me after spending like a whole buying session at the Burton house in Avon with Jarvis Thomas. And I believe Trav from radio was even there with me. It was like Dave Downing, like all the big wigs guaranteed me exclusive rights to my product. And they lied that there was a women's boutique underneath my store. And I found out from the lady making my cappuccino that I'm friends with that a Burton store was going in doing a full build out. And then I heard word from, I was like, TC and the rest of the guys and girls who were going to school at CMC, that they met the Burton manager. So they were trying to build a store underneath me to undercut me of the same product that I just bought, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, like rental, demo, like retail. And then they opened a shop that connects the wall to my buddy in Telluride. They opened a shop across the street from Underground from Andy and the crew. And it's brutal, man. Like, in competition's competition. And if we're not performing, I understand, but at least call the dealers if we're not. What can we do to help perform better? But opening a store across the street or below us, when I ollie my skateboard, they can hear it. They're literally trying to put us all out of business, so they don't have to. I don't buy stuff at wholesale to sell it you at retail. They want to sell it full pop to the retail, to the consumer, to make all the margin, and it's not good business. It is unethical. We helped him do it. It bankrupted my buddy. He literally lost his house and 2 businesses. He's married with children. They tried to put me out of business. I'm married. I'm sitting in my house. I own this place. I got a mortgage. I got to pay my staff. So we make good stuff. We just go about it the wrong way. And that's my big beef with Burton. And it sucks, man. Everybody else that I'm partners with here, they're my homies. They stay at my house and they help support the industry. And it's just, you know, that's long story short. I could go all day about that stuff, but you know, she ruined it. She ruined it. And I bet you Jake's rolling in his grave right now because that's not what he wanted. And that came out of his mouth of getting to know him on a very personal level. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that guy. I fucking respect the shit out of him. He was a fun guy to party with. And he was awesome. You know, cheers to him. I wish I had Don Julio for him because that's what he would have liked. You know, rest in peace, Jake. You mean ride forever, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, all of us sitting here right here, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Jake. Like, you know what he did for snowboarding. You know what he did for the whole culture and shit. And then to see her go on bomb hole and basically be like, well, this shop was selling like their own merchandise hoodies. And we were like, that's not cool. So we're going to open a store right next to them to sell our own hoodies. And it's like, no, it doesn't fucking work that way. Like, you know, you want to put these people out that have built you up. It's such bullshit. And like, they're going so hard on Step On, but I was like, here's the thing. People aren't going to just keep re-upping every year to new Step-Ons. Like, the people that bought it the first year were the people that were riding Step-Ins from the 90s, and they did it, you know? And it's like, I rode Step-On. I tried it. It's fucking trash. It feels weird because it moves that flex point up on your heel above your Achilles. And then like there's that clicking on the toe and shit. It has its place for someone like if you're disabled, you're older, you're a general cruiser. Yeah, that's totally great. But I want performance, you know?
Performance. And like all I deal with, and the thing about the Burton search below, I mean, it helps my staff to actually deal with real customers. Like people come in from wherever, they buy it from, where they call them hubs or some bullshit now, you know? And then they come in and they have like all these foot pains of like the cleats because you want that system, whether it's the clicker from K2 or the step in. I'm not going to call it the other name because that's remedial. And then it doesn't fit your foot. I mean, it's all about what fits your foot the best.
Yeah.
It's the most important piece of your own is your foot, are your boots and your eyewear. And you have to find what fits your foot the best and then go what flex pattern is right for you, what you're looking for, and also what closure system do you prefer. Like I've ridden every boot in the world. Most of my stuff like never came out, doesn't exist. But my production boot of choice is the Ride Fuse because it fits my feet properly. I've been skating half cabs for 31 years, bro. You know, like it fits my foot. I have skinny, flat feet. You know, it's like Etnies S, you know, Vans, Nike and Volcom shoes. That fits my foot. My wife has a giant arch. If she wears a pair of Vans all day, her feet cramp up. It's just different, man. But that, you know, it's, you know, if you're too fat and lazy to bend over and strap in, why are you at Rocky Mountains right now? It's like their whole split board shit. Like, I'm too lazy to bend over and climb a freaking mountain with my dicky do. I haven't seen, you know, my belly sticks out further than my dicky do. I mean, let's get fucking real right now. Like, that is ridiculous. We have to change your boots. That guy doesn't want to bend over, let alone put skins on it and go up. You start your hike at 7,000 feet. It's like taking the Silverton, like Jeremy did and brought me and Plow and like a bunch of us a couple years back, and you've ruined people. We started your hike at 11,000 feet to the billboard. And
yeah.
Well, I have step-ins. It's way easier. Now hike. Have fun. Have at it, homie.
Yeah.
Well,
I just can't believe that they made a backcountry step-in boot because of that cleat on the back. I'm like, how the fuck do you get the ankle flexion from that shit?
I mean, they probably had the wrist flex action, but not the, you know.
Limp ankle forward flexion mode.
Absolutely.
You know,
like, probably drive a Subaru too or something.
Foresters though.
Foresters.
Oh, like cool, you know, the lesbian mode deal.
Yeah, 2.5 RSs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, true. He was riding dirty. Those tags are expired for like 5 years or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's where they are. You going to be down next week for the demo at Loveland?
Like syndrome? What are you talking about?
Yeah, Down syndrome, extra chromosome. You coming
What's
or
up?
what?
Is it Tuesday, Wednesday? Is that what the day?
Yeah, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, 30th and 31st.
I'm trying to figure it out because the boys like Luddy, Jesse, Woods, and Brophy come out tomorrow. They leave Monday afternoon. I would like to come down. I haven't booked any housing yet, so I got to figure that shit out. But
I Chateau des Cheeks.
Yeah, I mean,
I got Travis and Eli.
Oh shit! I didn't realize you got the rep crew staying.
Oh yeah, B might have room though.
You know, yeah. I mean, I got to figure it out. I got to make some calls. People keep asking me to come down. I miss like Utah. I'm supposed to go out and see Raymer and the boys, but my life's crazy. I mean, with the shop and like the slash and burn thing, and we're 10 months out of the year on slash and burn, trying to raise funding the 30-year anniversary party because it better be a good party for Johan or he's gonna freaking kill me. You know.
Well, you're the longest running Powder Tools employee in the world.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah. Have they given you a gold watch yet?
Just boots.
Just boots. Just gold boots.
That's cool. I got those boots from Ride. These boots custom built those for me for something special years ago.
Nice. That's all good. No, that's solid. I love this comment that we just got from Vinyl Richie. I was up at Wiggles last year and there was a guy on step-ins that couldn't strap in because the snow was too deep. Had to go back to camp and get a rental with regular bindings. That'll fucking teach you. You pay thousands of dollars to go heli boarding and you bring that bullshit and it doesn't work.
I mean, if I was a guide, I mean, I've been on heli trips, and if somebody walks up with those, like, you should be like, the choppers broke down. Like, you don't even let them on. That's dangerous. I mean, that person's like, we've all been on those, like, national, international dealer trips where they take you somewhere cool, and I love the experience to watch people's face, like, when you take them. It's a very special, like, I'll never forget my first trips like that back in the day. But I mean, that is dangerous. Like, nobody rides those things that really rides. Like, it's for a reason. And the only time that pros ride them is because they're forcing them to just for a commercial, and that they have to keep doing it. It's kind of like the ads like that were going on for a long time with like the whole Android versus Apple thing. And Android always had to talk about Apple, that it was better. And you don't have, like, Apple never talked about Android. They're giving them free business right now. we don't have to talk about other brands that prove how good our shit is. Like, no other brand in my store, or any brand in my store, because I don't carry that other brand anymore, talks about other brands, except when they come into the shop doing like clinics. Like, everything in your store is great product. This is just how we do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has their own flavor, and some people like other flavors. Like, my dad, when he was alive, said it the best: "Hey, Bernie, there's a chair for every ass," you know? And then, like, just because my fat ass likes that chair doesn't mean your ass likes that chair. My fat ass won't fit in your goddamn little ass chair. But, you know, it is what it is.
And some of those chairs are cuck chairs.
Well, apparently, man, you better be like vinyl or something.
It's all good. TC, you got any more questions for the man?
Well, I kind of have one for you.
Yeah,
What about an Averin gag side bet?
Oh, yeah.
For Slash and
Talk
Burn.
about that, TC. So,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a little side bet for you, motherfucker. How about you and Gags do a bet?
What, are we gonna fight in the parking lot?
No. If you lose, you got to get a Never Summer tattoo.
Nope. Can't do tattoos.
You got to get an angry tattoo.
I can't get tattoos because my body will reject it due to all the surgeries I had and losing my immune system. It sucks.
Well, don't lose them.
I'm not gonna go get a skin graft.
What if it's a good scratcher tattoo? I mean, Sean G, I was talking to him like 2 weeks ago. He says he's going to buy a tattoo machine just to do some scratchers like at the after party. And he's never tattooed before, and he's a shitty drawer like I am. So it'd be epic. Yeah. I mean, the party weekend of Slashing Murder is going to be insane, man. All the stuff I'm working on is crazy.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to our editor because he's also a film guy, and I was like, "Hey, I think we're going to need you because I know you want me to come up and interview people and walk around." And so I was like, "Hey, can you come up and do this?" And he's like, "When is it?" And I told him, and he's like, "How wild is this going to get?" And I was like, "I don't know, but I have a feeling there might be fire involved."
Yeah. I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
A lot of side bets is good. I mean, just bring people together. I mean, our youngest competitor is like 4 or 5. Our oldest so far has been like 75. We have an adaptive class this year for my buddy Steve and his Crip crew, you know. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. And to celebrate it all, side bets are where it's at. You don't have to, but I mean, there's a lot of good ones. I mean, there's some people that still need to own up to the list I have sitting right next to me. And I control the whole thing. You know, I trademark the contest. Like, I'm the boss. So it's my rules. You got to play by them. And when I do all the registration and I look at this sheet over here that you owe it, I'm literally not going to give you your bid. I mean, look what happened to Kyle Grow years ago. That was crazy. When him and Jenna were together, she wanted to freaking kill me because he bet Van Ash straight up. Like, I'm like, you know, Van Ash is like a pro snowboarder, right? He goes, "Oh, I'm going to kick his ass." I'm like, "Sure you are." And the bet was he had to get either a cupcake tattoo or a belly piercing. And when they came up for the next year's contest, Jenna wanted a romantic weekend. She got a place, I think it was at the Grand, a night at Strawberry Park Hot Springs, like couples massages, all this kind of stuff. And when he came to my store to get his bib, I'm like, "Let me see the tattoo of the cupcake or your belly piercing." And for people don't know, Kyle Grove's not a small guy. and he's like, "Seriously, Bernie, come on, man. You can't do that." I'm like, "Yes, I can. It's my contest. I'm the boss." And so we like picked up the horn. We called our homies that have a shop downtown, and you had an appointment and told me, like, "Oh, send him right over." So he had to get this dangly belly piercing to get his bib. And he couldn't, and Jenna was so mad. And that's my sister. I love her, but she wanted to kill me because they couldn't go to the hot springs, couldn't go hot tubs. He couldn't get in the water all weekend. And he was so mad. He thought he could get in without doing it, that he controlled the contest. I was like, I just spent 10 months out of my own life to put this on like I do every year. And you sign that, and Van Ash is way better than most of the country.
Van Ash is like one of the most underrated snowboarders that I know. And like, if there was one person that could have made it and just was like, "Yeah, I'm good," it's him.
I watched him not go pro, and Austin Hironaka actually go pro instead at the Shakedown up in Washington. like Belowski got broke off. I have good footage of that. He like blew his knee out. I was up there with 6'11" crew.
Yep.
And that was at that Snoqualmie. There was an awesome feature, and there was this purple feature. He comes up and does this crazy Miller flip, like proper, and made the finals. And then in the finals, Austin, and I'm sorry, but like Austin's my homie. I love that guy too, but he did it, and it wasn't as good. And then he ended up winning of stealing Van Ash's trick, and he went pro for a ride when Van Ash should have went pro after that contest. So he's got a little chip on his shoulder from that. But the whole thing is like, when Van Ash falls, he doesn't get hurt. He crushes the earth.
Dude, so I got a great Van Ash story. So first year Camp K2 up at Baker, right? Back when Rob Howland was the rep and JP was the summer. So Rob, like, you know, he rents the RVs. Jamie's the oldest one in the group. Rob calls me up. He's like, hey, Averin, you have to be the dad on this trip. And I was like, what? And he goes, you are literally the only one I can trust. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, you are in charge of the fucking monkeys. And I was like, what about Jamie? And he goes, I can't fucking trust him. He's like, you're in charge of everything. Okay, so we get there. I'm herding cats, basically, like the whole Colorado crew. I'm like, okay, you guys are in this RV. We're taking this RV. You're old enough to drive this RV. I'm driving this RV, blah, blah, blah. While this is going on, Gershon steals my board bag and throws it in the wrong RV. So, like, we're driving up in this caravan of, like, 40 RVs, and, like, and I'm just cutting cars off with the window down, like, has anyone seen my board bag? And I was like, and the whole time everyone's like, what are you going to do if it just got stolen? I was like, I don't know. It's an event. I'm sure there's shit I can demo, and I'm just, like, doing this, right? So we go up there, and the first day, you know, they give us those limited edition Turbo Dream Camp K2 gyrator graphics.
And Van Ash still have those.
I have mine too. And so we go out the first day, and it's me, it's Van Esch, it's every AJ, all of them. Belowski's got a blown knee because that's what Belowski does. So he's cleaning the RVs. And we're all like, none of them have ever been up in the Northwest except for me because I lived up there. And I was like, okay, guys, this snow is going to be heavier. You can send anything and not worry about it. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, you're not going to hit rocks. And they were like, what? Van Esch was like, so I could just send it? And I was like, just fucking send it, bro. So there's like this downhill to a roller, big old rope, and then POW field. And they had told us, they were like, hey, there's ropes up for the runs, but everything's basically open because we got 4 feet overnight. He goes and pops this big old butter thing, reverts it around, hits the roller, throws a 540, lands with the board torqued. You can hear the board snap. He snaps the board, impacts, gets up, and he's like, I broke my board. And we're like, I'm like, dude, you just took that out of the fucking wrapper 5 minutes ago. And so he goes down and he's like, can I get another one? And they're like, no. So they gave him some demo board. I think he broke 3 boards on that trip in 2 days. It was so fucking hilarious.
Yeah, dude, he's nasty. He's the first one to ever break a bamboo cord that said was unbreakable when he first got back. Because he grew up in the Poconos at Camelback with, like, you know, Lewis and Birdman and the boys, and Leanne as well, you know, from Underground. Like, they all used to work at the shop, as you both know. And they're like, he rode for K2 back then, then he worked at the shop forever. Then he got a job with R2 and JP. And he started riding for them once again. And they're like, hey, I got this guy that used to ride for you guys back in the day. And, like, it was a big quarter pipe contest, like, all in-house is there. I'm sure Sean probably remembers this because it sounded like a freaking shotgun blast going off when Van Ash boosted, landed, and blew that thing apart. Like, who is this guy? I'm like, oh, that's Meatwad, a.k.a. Tommie.
Meatwad is the exact perfect name for him. Like, I was at Keystone one time, and he came up short on a jump and, like, just impacted, like, because it was like a channel gap. He, like, impacted it and, like, fell down, and he's just like, oh, that hurt, and he just rides away. And you're just like, most people would be dead. He, like, Wile E. Coyote'd it and was like, I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, you could sub, like, the whole Chuck Norris thing with Van Ash. It's like the same
thing. You could.
Dude, I'm curious to see if his daughter inherits that from him.
Oh, Nova, she's the best, man.
Yeah.
She's definitely like his daughter. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, most of my like all the boys like who are coming out, they all have girls because they were all scumbags to women.
Yep.
The only one that has like a son is Luddy because he was actually nice to chicks because after like hog tying him in the middle of the road in front of chaos and like putting a dirty sock in his mouth that Herzog would do to him, and his older brother Jay putting his head in a vice, like Jay has a daughter, Jesse's got several, Woods has a daughter, Van Ash has a daughter, Nick has Carter, he's an angel, you know? It's like, get what you deserve, boys, sometimes, love you all, but I'm terrified to have children because, holy shit.
No, you and I are getting too old to have kids. We're safe.
No, I pull out, man. I got a good goal.
I just don't date.
I'm too old. You know, Mandy got pregnant. We have a lot of stairs around here.
Yeah. Hey, man, if you ever need, I got metal coat hangers.
I still have a couple right here, too.
Oh, perfect. I got a shop vac, too.
Oh, sweet. Is it?
They're dodging it. Just
is it a wet dry vac or what?
I mean, sure. We can turn it from suck to blow if you need to.
Oh, yeah. Surrounded by assholes, man.
You know, just burn. Worst comes to worst, I can get a leaf blower.
Yep. Got you.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's funny. So here's a question for you, Bernie.
Yeah.
In all the years that you've known TC and like all the years that I've known you, why did you hire TC? Like, I know you're selective in your hiring process. I never worked with you. We knew each other, but we worked for the same corporate company, but we didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't work in your shop.
Yeah, you're over at the clock tower. Yeah, I mean, TC, he was one of the few people that came into it. As you know, like we get a lot of applicants at the shop. Yep. Not many leave. I mean, not like the only reason that people honestly leave the store is if they came for the CMC and try to work on whatever, and their parents are like, you need to get a real job, or they moved on and got jobs as like reps, sub-repping, tech repping, and worked their way up. And I get a lot of applicants that are like, hey man, you hiring, and like smoking blunts with their homies when they come in. Like, I like to smoke a bunch of weed. Like, I have my med card for my seizure shit, but it's a multi-million-dollar business, and we get a lot of applicants, not a lot of good ones. And him coming in and seeing like he a good dude, passionate, and he took a ribbing pretty well, honestly, with a smile on his face. You could tell the kid's been through some shit and like was raised properly. I mean, like getting to know him over the years, being my little brother and his family, like his dad's big burger guy, me too. But knows how to handle themselves and pretty quick on his feet. It's not common that somebody is like myself. It's like all day just busting their balls. Like my biggest ball busters ever was my grandfather, my dad when they were alive. And he came in and just hung out and bothered me, and he took it well. And he on his application was his reference was my buddy Mike, aka Smooches. I was like, wait, Smooches? I'm like, yo, Smooches. I got some freaking remedial in front of me, and like I ended up hiring him and giving him his nickname because he walked into a conversation, a story that I was telling Curtis at the time, where Thunder Cheeks all comes from.
Yeah.
And so people might not know this story, but you know, there's a guy that we all grew up with, like the boys who are watching now, this guy Pablo that is in the music industry. Like he's best friends with Vinny Louvenier from Jedi Mind, who we all grew up with. Like that's our fam. And years ago, Pablo is listening to AC/DC. We're all jamming out at the shop, and he's saying like Dirty Deeds and the Thunder Cheeks, and he's pointing at his ass. And we're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, Dirty Deeds, Thunder Cheeks. And we're like, yo. And you all have your own record label of you and Vinny, and we're at Chaos, and we're like, bro, it's Thunder Cheap. And Curtis is crying, laughing. We're sitting on the bench of the shop, and this freaking asshole walks in right into it. And it's like, you are now Thunder Cheeks. And it just, here we are now.
Here we are. He's Lord Thunder Cheeks.
Thunder Cheeks, man. Hey, don't look at my butt. I got him a name tag and everything.
Oh, yeah. Thunder Cheeks, king of the ass clap.
Yeah, you don't forget that shit. I mean, you're like, what's going on? I don't know. Even his parents call him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
the only one that I know that doesn't is his girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, maybe you gotta like convince her or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of endearing. She's the only one. The rest of them, like even my parents refer to him as TC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else would you call
Yeah, exactly.
Travis's parents do as well. It's kind of weird, but yeah. When Travis said my real name to Petey one time, and Petey's like, I don't know who the hell you're talking about. He's like, yeah, you do. He works at P Tools. And he's like, must be a new guy. Don't know him. And then I show up. He goes, oh, what's up, TC? And he goes, wait, really? And he's like, it's not TC. He's like, well, yeah, we're just going to keep it with TC. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it happens. It was like when
Yeah.
when Plow, it was like years and years ago, he like sent Jarvis an email because Petey is like one of the most professional people when it comes to doing business. And his email's like, hi, I'm Peter. And Jarvis was like, yo, he's like the new Jones guy. He's like, seems nice on emails. Name's Peter Lowell. I like laughed. I'm like, you mean Plow? And he's like, whoa. That's Petey? I was like, yo, that's the Plow, man. And it's like, Peter, I'm like, that's what I'm like, because people call him Peter. If you call him Peter, like, you're not homies with the Plow. Only like family calls you the Plow.
Yeah,
you know? Dude, it's so funny because there's Peter the rep, and then there's Plow.
Yeah.
And like for me, he will always be Plow, right?
Always.
And like he and I have a great relationship, but then like when we have to talk business, when people are around there doing business, they're like, you two like go from being like degenerates to just like, yes, we must do the business. They leave and we're like, okay, so Petey, here's this bottle of tequila I got you. You want some burritos? By the way, we're gonna make one of your sub reps do a shot of Malort.
Yeah.
No, it's funny like that. Yeah. Petey's a great dude. Probably one of the best reps I've ever had. And now he's got Travis under him, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's great, man. Two dudes, one Travis. That's my guy.
It's so funny. I remember when you hired Travis, you were like, I'm not hiring a child.
Yeah.
I won't do it. And everyone's like, hire Travis. I have a rule. No one under the age of 22. And we were like, hire Travis. And then turns out he was a good employee.
He was, and it's funny, like, and he was so young, and he had a rockin' mullet. He looked like a mini Kenny Powers.
Yes.
And he didn't know what Kenny Powers is all about, so I kept saying to him, like, yo,
you're fucking out.
And he didn't understand any of it. And he looks like a little Cheese Bro. So during like the Pond Skim event, I tried, because Cheese Bro was a rockin' mullet. He's the model for Chubby's, a very close friend of mine. I tried to get him to put Trav in a baby Bjorn and do the pond skin with him on his chest.
Oh my God, that would have been amazing.
I couldn't get it to work out, man. I tried.
Oh God, I'm trying to find the mullet photo of Travis. I know it's.
I have a great one of him. It's like America style. It's awesome. Trav's my guy. I'm proud of him, and like,
yeah,
so many people.
Dude, I inherited Travis when he was 11 years old because he was in the back seat of a Woodward van that we did not know he was in. And like the first Averin interaction he ever had, I'm up in the front seat and I'm talking about the Driving Miss Daisy, and everyone's like, "The fuck's the Driving Miss Daisy?" I was like, "Well, that's when you're double fisting a 90-year-old woman and you got a fist in the vag and one in your ass and you're going like this." And all of a sudden, I look in the rear view mirror and I see these two little eyes on the fourth row, and I'm like, "Guys, we have a camper in here." And he's like, "Hey guys, I didn't know where to go." He like just didn't know where to go. So he's back there. And I was like, and I mean, we were like full-blown Woodward degenerates. And we're all like, I'm like doing 60 and I just hit the brakes. And I'm like, what the fuck?
And some baby just flies across your van.
Yeah, exactly. Like all 3 feet of Travis at the time, because it's just like the funniest fucking shit ever. And it's just like, Jesus friggin' Christ. Like,
did he have an afro at that time?
That's when he had his hair like down to his lower. No,
Okay.
he was like, no, he was still a little kid because he was 11. He didn't grow his hair till like that till he was 13. Which is so funny to be like, he and I were talking about it the other day, and we're like, I've literally been a part of his life for over half of it now, and I'm like, this is so fucking weird to me. And his dad even jokes about it. He's just like, yeah, you've been like his big brother for years. And I'm like, damn it, I can't find this photo of him. Like this is what Trav looked like when I got him.
Oh, you gotta send that to me. Yes, send that to me. That is, oh yes.
Yeah, you know, like that's the best part of Trav. And then let's see. Oh wait, actually, This might actually be the year we got him.
Yo,
You know,
was he wearing Bugle Boys?
probably. He's got an Enjoy shirt on. Who knows?
That's good. I mean,
He had some weird. He had some weird fashion for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I love that picture.
Yeah, good old Trav. Like,
this is the guy who has my name tattooed on for all you people. He used to work for me. Now he's a sales manager for Jones.
It's always wild to me.
California for the first time. He's like, "Yo, Burton, can I use you as a reference for this apartment I'm trying to get?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, bro. I got you." And this person called me. We had a good conversation. And I'm like, "What do you think?" I'm like, he's a good dude, but I gotta let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. He's a weird cat guy. I think he's got at least like 12 to 15 to 20 cats, So I just want to let you know, like, he's got a lot of cats. He wears like weird like sweaters and stuff and likes cats. So you might want to know about that before you let him move in with like his cat lady shit. Just a heads up.
This is like when you guys got Trav.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that Zaybars over there?
Yeah.
AKA the Hammer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
That's
Grand Canyon was formed this way, and this is a fact. Isaiah got lost.
This is our sub Jones rep now.
Oh yeah, look at that street meat.
Dude, he was the hairiest little kid ever.
Yeah, it's weird.
Dude, I was gonna say I just pictured Travis when he was like 10 years old with a full beard and a mullet still. Like,
yeah.
I met him when he was like 19, 20, and yeah, still picture him with a full beard and mullet, being like, "You're like 30."
He had a beard, and I was just like, "This is getting weird." And then it was like it was super weird because I think when he was like 16, he went from permit to license to his parents just letting him drive to the mountains midweek to come snowboard with me. And people be like, "Who's this little kid?" And I was like, that's Trav. He's the intern or whatever. And I would just like drag him along with me everywhere. That kid is so well adapted to like weird scenarios now because of all of us that it's just like, and it's so hard to believe he's not even 25 yet.
It's wild, man. It's wild. It's pretty crazy. It's like my niece is older than him, which is fucked.
You should hook him up.
No, I love my niece.
Come on. He could be your niece. He could be your nephew-in-law.
I mean, as much as I like that, maybe my younger niece Addison, she's only 17, but she's a terrible driver, but she's also half Asian, so aren't they all? It's like when I go home to Philly and I couldn't ask for somebody better. He married to my older sister Christina. They got 3 kids, like they're all grown up except for Addison's like in the junior in high school. But Pat, he looks like Tiger Woods, but fatter. And we're like the odd couple. Like, how do you guys know each other? Like, oh, he fucks the shit out of my sister. And he's like, well, that's true. I'm like, well, he can't bottom her out because he's Asian. You know what I mean? He goes, that's also true. but my nieces, terrible drivers. Because their other
They're Asian and from Philly. I'm scared for my life.
Yeah, well, like his parents, his dad's Irish, is a military guy like my father, and his mom is actually from Thailand, and they met when he was in the military, came back to the States, and they got divorced pretty early. So he went to school in Philly, him and his sister, and then as soon as school was over, he got shipped back to Thailand with his sister to be with his mom. And so, like, my niece Skylar, who's the oldest, he's 26, and Addison, who's 17, looked Thai, and the middle child, Cole, he's blonde hair, blue eyes. Like, he's like, my brother, like my sister and I look the same, and Vinny looks like the gas man's kid. So that was like the joke growing up, that he was the gas man's kid. Because my mom has MS, and there was a really nice, like, super hot black guy in her mind that would come in every month and read her gas meter for Philly Gas Company. And my dad's like, that's not him. That's the gas man's kid. It's like this rolling joke for, like, my brother's 44 years old now. But my dad never claimed him until the day he died. And that was like 4 years ago. So
that's how it goes. Oh, man. That's just too funny. That's just too funny. So here's a good question for you, Bernie. In the 24 years that you've been at P-Tools, longest running employee, what's the biggest change that you've seen through the eyes of the store working retail in snowboarding?
Like the change as far as like customer product numbers,
customer culture, like the biggest thing encompassing all of snowboarding, like what you think the biggest change is that you've seen with your history.
I mean, definitely the industry got a lot harder for sure. A lot harder. There was a lot of stores around me. Like, I don't want to be the only game in town. I've seen like Ski Time Square. There was Powder Pursuits. There was BC. There was like Max Snowboards. There was Ned's the Core Shop. There was the Click. There was Ride Sports below me that was owned by the resort, and that's where that other brand with the B is now. Where they'll probably not be there by July. There was Josh with the Click that Burton really put out of business. Oops, I didn't mean to say that name, but you know what I'm talking about. And then Ski House, but you know they're there. With online, it made it very more difficult. Getting employees difficult. The consumer is different. You have to be on top. Like you have to know what you're talking about now. Like you can't just fake things. You have like these things now, like getting reviews. Like when we had Chaos back in the day, like in the early mid 90s, it's like, I don't like you, get the F out of my store. And a bad service goes farther than good service. People remember that and they spread it, and it's on you. And you know, like you look at people's reviews, some people, all their reviews are negative because that's just who they are. But you see brands come and go, and you see some people stay and support you, and see the same customers all the time who call you. Technology has changed a lot. It's funny to see it full circle of like when the World Wide Weapon came out, for example. I had this board back in like the early mid 90s. It was a pill 148 and it had a piece of broccoli on the base. And I think it was Scott's brand of snowboards. They only did like for a couple years. And it was long contact, you know, effective edge, snub down nose. And then the World Wide Weapon came out and the Dub hit market. I'm like, that's the board I rode in high school. And it was. And see it come full circle. And trying to learn from before, but it's a lot. I mean, you can go on forever, like the boot technology. When people still try to tell me like Nike made good boots and like boots, and I'm like, when Jarvis and I, we had to bring them in when they came back for the third time. You know, the people don't understand that they failed 3 times. And when we sat in the shop, like cracking a beer at the fireplace and just trying to like. Literally, we thought we took a DeLorean back to Hill Valley, and like that's how old they are. We're like, whoa, this is like my old Northwave boot from the 90s. And gladly, if you don't know, like one of my best friends, who's a team rider, was the last person to have a contract with Nike. Him and Danny and like all of them. They're like, these hurt my feet. We were actually custom building them liners and foot beds. And I would joke around that if I moved back to the city and shoveled snow for a living, they look cool, so I'd wear them. But they're inferior, and they failed 3 times. And as a big company, if you're a shareholder, when you're spending all this money for our demographic that's this big, when you sell billions of sports bras a year, like where are you going to put your money at?
Yeah.
And not giving back to the industry and seeing things come and go. Like I remember when 6'8" Sticks did a collab with New Balance, which was cool, but they were terrible. I mean, it's like Osiris, I think, tried, but Osiris had issues with like the D3. I was like, they
turned the D3 into a boot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a high top at that point.
And MFM had a pro model.
No, it's gimmicks, and people think that you don't. And when customers say that they'll buy it, I'm like, you look at their boots, or 10-year-olds, like you're not a customer. But it's all about technology. And it's all relative, really. Like boots are beat. Like you get like 30 days or so of a boot. Like I average like 6 boots a season, you know, and it's just how it is. I mean, things last a little bit longer, but if they made stuff for all of us talking right now that ride 130, 50 plus days a year, like try to tell my friends back home and not being a jerk. Like, I've been riding this many years. I'm like, you ride 5 days a year. Like, I rode 157 days last year. That's 30 years of your life in one season. And so if they made boots for people like us, it would take them 10 lifetimes to break it in. They already cry like little bitches about their feet all the time. And foot issues that make me laugh, and women don't like when I say this to them because it's fucking true. And if like, and you'll agree with me. Like, how many women do you know? You go to like say a wedding or something, and these women put like Italian shoes on, those freaking hooves of theirs with like big heels, just a little cute. They don't complain at all. But then they put on like an Intuition liner boot, properly fit, custom molded to them. My feet hurt. I'm like, you didn't complain about those Ferragamos and that hoof last weekend.
Yeah.
But like, things have changed like a lot. Like, you have to keep up. You have to have a good tune shop. You have to be a full service specialty shop. Big box stores, I mean, they are what they are. And there's always been talk like we own our buildings, so we're not going anywhere. And as you know, like any business, like a bar, restaurant, each bar stool is X amount of dollars a year. It's just square footage, right?
Yeah.
And I feel you take the intimacy, like the intimate relationship you have with the customer when you walk into a store of my size, a store of like, you know, of Gravity, of like going to Radio, you go to like Milo, you go to like all these stores that are like an intimate setting, and you remember, you get high five and not get lost and like, oh, do you need help, man? Like, you know, like it's not about numbers. It's about giving them the best experience you can of your life. And some people get away from that and they can't treat their employees well. I mean, I have a waiting list. Like I have a guy, Shane, that I employed this year. He's been trying for 15 years to get into my store. And I finally let him in. It's not him personally. I didn't have a spot for him. Like, no one leaves. You get a 4-hour lunch break every day. If you don't get at least 85 plus days a year, I'm not buying your pass next year. Like, when I got a perfect season the other year, and the only time I ever could because they canceled all trade shows, and I party harder than anybody.
Yeah, you do.
And they're like, oh, I can't keep up. I'm like, you're 22. I'm 45. I have over 100 grand of knee surgeries. I need a new knee and a hip. I have a seizure connected all my head trauma. I spit all my teeth out before I went to high school. I'm here. Let's fucking go. You know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This place rules. I mean, this should save my life, and this is great. Pays the mortgage.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you made it a life. Like we all have. And that's the thing, is like we're lifers. And that's the big thing that I'm seeing, like a big difference in. You know, like when I lived in Steamboat, things were a lot different. I mean, God, that was like 18 years ago, and things are a lot different. But when you look at like the scope of what's going on in snowboarding and everything, and it's like you look at all these fucking stupid ass influencers and what they're trying to do, and like, so this was hilarious. Someone pointed out, like Buckhouse did a live stream this week, and they're like, he's in here saying, he's saying that he's the original snowboard vlogger, and I was like, TJ Schneider, Snowboard Realms, did it 15 plus years ago. And I was like, he tries to rewrite history. These people try to rewrite history. Like Snowboard Jesus, when he was at the X Games last year and got into it with me, like not knowing who Todd Richards was, he's like, you don't know much about snowboarding. And I was like, the fuck I don't. I've been riding since before you, dude. You're a fucking kook. Which I think it's funny that it's X Games weekend and there has been like no hype for the X Games.
Yeah, everyone's at locks. I mean, Maddie Shafrick, I mean, look at the freaking little post that she put up. And Colin Jenks, he's the original Snowboard Jesus. There's a poster of him in the shop of him and Luke Kessler. They used to be the head coaches at the Winter Sports Club.
Yeah.
They're the ones who trained Nikki Baden, you know? And a picture of Colin Jenks like this, like the background, the Snowboard Jesus, you have stickers of it. And that comment, like you just said, Abe, like when he's like, who's Todd Richards? I'm like, what? That dude is a snowboard god. He's a legend. Like that dude,
he's on the Mount Rushmore for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely on the Mount Rushmore. And not just only his skill set, his knowledge, what he's given back to the industry, how approachable he is. He always has time to high five everybody. And he talks the truth. Like Monday Mass with him, like it's awesome. Like, and him getting disrespected, and you know what? And he took it. He's like, I don't think I'm the best thing ever, but that dude is fucking Todd Richards, and you don't know who Todd Richards is, and you come to a scene where Jesus, like, that's wild. Like that to me is ignorant. And back then we call it ignorant, because that is ignorant as fuck.
No, it's full ignorance on their part, and like these guys just try to rewrite the history to their audience, and then you have to go and like explain to these people that don't know any better. Like they're horrible ambassadors to the culture of snowboarding and everything. It's like, okay, cool, people want to snowboard because some dumb shit made a fucking 20-minute vlog about them thumbjacking their queef hole on the gondola at Keystone. And it's like, and they side slip everything, zeech every rail. Like that ain't snowboarding to me. Like one of the big complaints that TC and I get is they're like, you guys never show your riding, so you fucking suck. And I was like, dude, I'm not riding around with a little pole fucking trying to get clips. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go fucking ride with the boys for 4 hours on this board that I might like. I might fucking hate. I don't fucking know what the fuck's going on with it. I'm going to figure it out. Like you and I've ridden together plenty enough, Bernie. You know I can shred. Like when I come into town, you're like, yeah, we're going to go fucking ride today. And I'm like, fuck yeah, we are.
Yeah, let's go defend it. And it's like, if people talk about it, they're not good. I mean, I've had people like Fat Ryan was chirping at me the other day, like over social, because he can't say things in my face about things. And there's this other snowboard group that came to town. And I think TC was working at the shop. We invited them to our like huge keg party. And they were like talking this, that.
Oh yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
One person like pushed his Mongo on the chairlift, and we went. It was just like TC, and it was just a shop homies. It's just a normal day, and we're taking laps, and then we stopped for lunch at T-Bar to get some wings. They're like, "Yo, what is going on? Who are all these pros that we're hanging out with?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like that's just the shop homies. We just run the shop together."
Exactly, and that's like the whole thing. Like when TC and I are on the mountain, we're on the mountain. Like we don't care. We're not out here trying to make shitty ass content that people are going to get stoked on. There's some people that make good content like out of that. That's not our niche. That's not it. But it's just like so funny, like looking at these poser fucks that come up and buy their audience. And then they're like, we're going to fucking promote like all the idiots that are promoting this binding. You're not a snowboarder. You're a person that snowboards, because you know why? You had to take a paycheck from a shitty brand because a real brand wouldn't work with you because they have standards. There's a reason that companies hit us up to do reviews, and third-party companies that work for those companies hit you up to get you 1 or 2 boards. Whereas like the marketing department's like, oh yeah, we put in our budget that we're going to send you a whole fleet of boards, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why like all this stuff behind me, like being a part of the development team program with Ride for more than half my life, and Dragon and all that stuff. I mean, just being it. And like you just said, Averin, like perfectly, we don't snowboard. We're snowboarders. Snowboarding is not an activity. Skating is an activity. Surfing is an activity. It's a way of life. It's a culture. Even like growing up Love Park kid with like all the boys, and with like Shane and Sub-Zero, with like Ricky and Fred Gall, Little Stevie, Chaos, like Jamie Cool Runnings was an original Bones Brigade member. We had more like just skating from 5th and South, from Sub-Zero to Love and Muni and, you know, City Hall was like, that was part of it. Like once we got to the spot, it's like, cool, we just hang out, smoke blunts, skate, but like it's a way of life. Like the journey is almost more fun than the destination. And riding a chairlift with your buddy, like one of my best friends in the world, Monty, who's the VP of Dragon, he was a pro surfer. He's also an East Coast dude. And hanging out with him, like him and his son, they surf every day together. Like Monty's traveled the world. He was a pro surfer. And he said, Bernie, surfing with my son is awesome. My favorite activity to do with my son is actually snowboarding, because I can sit on a chairlift with my son and have a conversation and enjoy each other's company. And then we can go do it, because when you're snowboarding, like you're not talking to each other until we each stop at that jump, and just being around in the culture. It's a way of life. It's why how we talk, what we listen to, the way we dress. It's a culture. Like when I traveled the world, when I lived in Paris back in the 90s, and within like 20 minutes, I became friends with people because I was skateboarding. You're accepted when you're like a real skater, a real surfer, a real snowboarder. You have to be good at it. You're just trying. And you're just, people see you eating shit and getting back up and doing it again. Like you're accepted. You can go anywhere because you, like, I skateboard, therefore I am. And that's like how it is. And it changed our life. And people who don't think that, they're not a skateboarder. They're not a snowboarder. They're not a surfer. That's their activity. For us, it's in our veins. It pumps through your heart. That's my soul. That's your soul. It's both your soul. It's everybody that works at the shop. That's just the way it is. And you can't fake it. You can't fake it. And faking things is pretty obvious to people like ourselves, because we can feel it as you walk into a room, and not sizing people up like we're better than you. We can tell if you're family that your vision and your heart is in the same place as us. You're a good person, and we're talented degenerates. Like, who in the right mind in any of those three things that we do, that you jump down 10 stairs on a skateboard and you smash your dome and you run back up and do it again? Who goes snowboarding in scorpions and has a scar in the back of their head and does it again? Who goes and paddles out and gets stuck in the washing machine? Most people run for the freaking hills. They're like, I got to go do it again. I mean, that's just who you are, and you challenge yourself. And it's fun. There's nothing like laughing at each other, you know. Like, I have good footage of me eating shit. Like, if you've never shit yourself, like hitting a big jump, you never really hit a big jump before. Like, we all like had the little like shard Hershey squirt, whatever you want to say, like the spreader off, like trying to guinea pig that like 65 to 80 to knock, you know, and like, man, you like shouldn't have took that one extra turn going in, and next thing you know, you got to go fucking find a new pair of pants.
I gotta go get rid of my socks. Oops, there's my socks. Yeah, no, it's one of those things, like dealing with those dumb fucks, because I've had to have interactions. I'll ask them questions that, like, if we were talking, we would have the answer, and they're like, I don't know what you mean. Like, there's this guy on Instagram called Butter Dojo, and he's trying to teach people how to Japanese butter. And so one of our guys one of our moderators in here, Josh, ran into him up at Mammoth, and the guy asked him on the chairlift, he goes, what's the one trick you really want to do on your snowboard? And he's like, I really want to get like a really proper method. And the guy was like, I don't know what that is.
Wow.
And he's trying to tell people how to snowboard and what snowboarding is, and he doesn't know what a fucking method is. Or like, I read one of his comments, and someone was like, oh, that's what Craig Kelly used to do. And the guy's like, I don't know who that is. Fucking I mean, he went and educated himself. I'll give him that. But, you know, like, you see these poser ass fucks coming through, and it's a paycheck to them. And it's like, but at the end of the day, one of the questions I love to ask them is, I was like, okay, so if you lost snowboarding, how would snowboarding take care of you? And they're like, I don't know. Whereas all of us, like, if you left P Tools, you would probably have a job at a company. If TC left me, he could be a rep. He could be working back in a shop doing that. If I lost Angry today, I know that I know Steve at Gravity would hire me. I know Andy at Underground would hire me. Yeah. I know Nick over at Base Mountain Sports would hire me. Like, I could go back and work in a shop, or I could call up one of the reps and be like, do you need help with demos? And I'll kind of sub rep, and I could do that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, I've been offered multiple jobs, going to like a bunch of brands, and having the person in charge there be like, all right, I'm going to talk to you as, you know, this person with this title, and why I'm important to them, and helping develop a bunch of product and get to pick out things. And then like, now I'm going to talk to you as your homie. They're like, do not take this job. You already build custom stuff for yourself, and you're worth more here than there. And it's not about me anymore. Like, I got a wife, I'm in Steamboat, I get to snowboard every single day. I'm already part of the brand. Like, P Tools is now my life. It's in my blood. Like, I am Powder Tools.
You are.
And I will have a job wherever I want to go. But my job is not done yet here. It's just scratching the surface. And with the 10-year anniversary for Slash and Burn, 30 year for the shop, I mean, I've had a lot of humbling things in my life. I mean, there's a couple of humbling things ever. It's like when I got 2 invites for LBS within 20 minutes. One was from Dragon. 20 minutes later, my phone rang from Volcom. And I'm like, it was like humbling to be like, you can check it off twice in one day, which is mind blowing. Also, like, when they built me these gold boots over here, that was super humbling. And for those who don't know, like, they built me those boots years ago because I sold more ride product than anybody globally, including the global brand director. And, you know, and then when the Society UL came out, that was mind blowing. With, you know, it was crazy, like helping develop the product. Like, I was in the society, and, you know, McGinty's like, what can we do to make it better, this, that? And I'm like, it should have, you know, handprint, it should have an ultralight core, it should have, you know, this silencer, this type of urethane for the slime walls, this base, stainless steel edges, blah, blah, blah. And then one day we were at trade show. He's like, here, go ride this. And I'm like, what is it? He goes, just freaking ride it. So I went and rode it. I came back, and he's like, what do you think? I'm like, this is the greatest board in the world. This is the best thing ever. This is exactly what I've been picturing in my head like my whole life. And he's like, starts laughing at me. I'm like, what's so funny? He goes, that's your pro model. Like, that's literally every spec that you gave me is your board. And they produced it. It went to production globally for a year. And Hadley did some pretty gnarly things and won a lot of contests in that board.
Dude,
that was super humbling to me.
Right. McGinty was always my favorite board designer because, like, the Machete GT, I fucking always had a hate relationship with that thing. I just could never like it. And so he wanted to see if I actually knew what I was doing one time. So he shows up with a bunch of white top sheet, black base boards. And he's like, this is a prototype, Averin. This is something new. Just go out and ride it, make 2 laps and tell me what it is. So 1 lap, I come down. I was like, I made 1 lap. And I go, what? And he's like, what'd you think? And I was like, it's a Machete GT. And he looks at me and he goes, how the fuck did you know that? And I was like, it's a Machete. So he hands me another board. I go out and do it and come back. And I was like, that's a 2-year-old Machete GT. It's before you change this. And he looked at me and he goes, you fucking know what you're talking about. And I was like, dude, there we go, you know?
Yeah, and people don't understand, like, when, like, the 3 of us talking right now, where you can mount a board, ride it 50 to 100 yards, and break it down just like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, this board sucks for me. I know who it's for, but that's not for me. And know the side cut, what it can and can't do. And some boards, they just, I don't know why they make them and waste their time. It's like a lot of companies' catalogs too big and they compete against themselves. Like, why do you have 3 boards for the same customer and they're all $600? I don't understand it. It's hard for me to sell it. It sits on my wall, and people aren't like us talking that know down to a spec sheet that they can look at it. Like the board 24/6 at the waist with this side cut, like, I'm in. You know, like that's
you're in. I'm over there going, nope, I'm out.
You know,
too narrow.
I got a Dremel at the shop. I can help you out with those little freaking hoof things, you know, toe rack.
Yeah, my fucking crippled, horrible feet. Fucking, can I just get my feet cut off and have robot feet put on?
Yeah, dude, I'm cool with that. I'm not going to touch your feet, but I'll supervise. I don't like hooves, man.
Yeah, I know. Why do you think I always tell people, I'm like, if you're going to Powder Tools, you need to get a boot fit. Ask for Bernie. Ask for Bernie. Because I know you will do everything in your power to get out of it. And
boss, man.
Oh, I know you are, but it's just funny because I know if they specifically come in and ask for you, and then you're like, who sent them? And you're like, Averin. I know the second they walk away, you're like, oh, fucking gonna kill that asshole.
I love it because, like, you know, I'm gonna give them some shit. I'm gonna make one of my employees get on their hands and knees, you know. But they earned it. I mean, I've been in the trenches my whole life. It's you gotta earn your stripes, man. I got all the stripes. I'm the boss.
Oh yeah, no, dude, you're still not above cleaning the toilet. That's the whole thing. That's the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have running water, so I've got to clean one. So
yeah, exactly. You're good. You're
still
good.
mind blowing to me that we never had running water.
You know?
Yeah, freaking P Tools is like the weirdest snow shop. No running water. It's just like there. It's like you walk in and you're just like, you got like the rental and tune, you got the store, you got the fire pit, you got the big ass TV, which I always love when I walk in and there's like, you guys will be like playing one of my reviews or something. And be like, and then I walk in and you'll be like, oh, just talk to Averin. You'll like pawn a sale off on me to go make it for you. And be like, Averin will take care.
Free labor.
I'm over there just like selling boards, and like one of your new employees that doesn't know, he's like, who the fuck's this guy just selling shit? And Bernie's like, it's all good. It's Averin. It's Averin.
Yeah, you know? Like I appreciate it because a lot of people come in like from you guys telling them to come up and like give me and the crew a hard time, and I love it, man. Like the love is real, and I appreciate that. It's like humbling, and the store's wild. I mean, a lot of people don't remember what they bought, but they remember like the experience, the 70-inch TV, the 2 fireplaces, the couch.
Yeah.
And TC, you'll like this. My new couch I bought turns into a bed.
No.
So which one of your employees is going to be the first one to fuck on it?
That's why it's vinyl, dog.
Well, that's easy to clean it, man. Spray that shit down. Ain't nobody spraying STDs.
Last time I was there on Christmas, all those chairs were just blown out. You go to sit and your ass is just on the floor, and you're like, "Oh God!" Like these things did not last as long as we thought they were gonna. Like,
I mean, they were there for a long time, and all those like
they were
big bone people. They just like to plop on them and stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, because they're out of shape, and they're like, "I need new boots," and you're like, "Yeah, take a seat," and they're like, "Yeah, I'll just get all the weight off," and just like sit down, smash the back of their head on the binding wall, and you're like, "Okay, like slow it down, bud." Yeah. You're like, okay, like, now that you're good and concussed, you're gonna get some nice boots.
No, it's always good. One thing I love about going to your shop though is I know you'll have what I'm looking for if I need it, and if you don't, you can get it in, and
That's true.
that's the big thing with it. Like you go in there and you're like, yeah, this is solid. So, I really do gratefully appreciate the fact that you guys go out of your way to do that. And I think it's hilarious, like over the years, like how your staff has stayed on. So now the new people are like, yeah, if Avern just shows up, it's like he might have Malort, he might have Zima, definitely has stickers. Like the last time I was in there, I dropped a bunch of stickers on the counter. I turned around and I was like, fuck, they're all gone. Like everyone, like, oh my God. Just like scurrying off into the distance.
Yeah, and I appreciate you making that sticker and giving me that one I use all the time. Is like keep your dick beaters off my board, because every time one of my employees goes to the bathroom, I don't forget to wash her dick beaters before you come back.
Yeah, well, the keep your dick beaters off my snowboard. We need to get those up on the store and start selling those. But yeah, that's always a good one and stuff. Yeah, it's just so funny. But yeah, like the history of P Tools is just so cool to me, and to be able to even just like be part of it just by passing through is huge. And the fact that you guys, like, I don't have to call anyone and say I'm coming to Steamboat. I don't. I just show up, I park the car if I'm down in the free lot or if I'm in the garage, and then I walk over and I'm like, hey, I'm here. And it'll be like Zay or Hans or Harrison, And when TC was there and I'd be like, hey, I'm here. And TC would be like, cool, I'm going to be off at 11. Go make a couple laps, come back. I come down at like 10:45. He's like, gonna go grab my shit. Boom, we go ride. Like I never have to worry. It just feels like I got homies.
It's a clubhouse, man. It's the fam. It's like when Cook and Bachman from 32 were just spent like a week and a half there. They thought like I was calling people like, hey man, let's impress these guys who are like the global brand director or whatever at Soltech. And they're like, yeah, this is like real every day. I'm like, no, this is P Tools. This is like, these kids grew up dropping like pepperoni on the floor and bubble gum and spilling shit by the fireplace. Now they're employees and like Marty and stuff. And that's just, I mean, people grow up in that store. I mean, we've all slept there. We've all puked in that place. I mean, we've all done some pretty questionable things over the years, but it's always a safe zone. Even like the little kids that are like the groms who run for the shop or the club, like lost their mom, lost their dad, lost their phone. Like, hey, Bernie, can I borrow your phone? Like, you have a seat on the couch, grab the remote, turn the fireplace on, chill. I mean, it's a home. Like, we're an institution in Steamboat. Like, half the town grew up there. I mean, look at Matty Shaffrick, like Ladley, like Nick Baton, Taylor Gold, Ariel Gold, Mick Deardoff, like Cody Winter, like so many people have come through that store and grew up there and ended up working, riding for us. Like Edelman's back right now, which is kind of wild. Yeah, I mean, and Edel could have been a professional snowboarder. Mandy, him and I and Gary lived together for a long time, and he left. He's a mechanical engineer, and he called me a month ago at 6 a.m. I'm about to get in my shower to get ready to go to work. He's like, "Hey man, you got work for little old me?" I was like, "Yeah. When do you want to start? You want to split today or come at noon?" And 2 weeks later, Edel's full time at the shop, and the guy, he's a mechanical engineer, just to hang out and help me out.
Wait, he's working in the shop now?
Yeah, they're like, who is this guy? He picked up really quick. I'm like, what do you mean picked up really quick? He grew up in the store.
He worked there.
That's just so funny. Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the whole thing is you build that community in snowboarding. And we went through that weird phase 8 years ago where there was just no community, and you could see it outside of things, and then you build it. And that's the whole point of having you on today to talk Slash and Burn and to talk that 30 years, which it's March 21st, right?
Yeah, so it's March 23rd, 24th is the contest. Friday the 22nd is registration. People you sign, you come to the shop from open to close, 8 to 7. Saturday is the adult and the adaptive. Sunday is the kids for Slash and Burn. And this year, people need to register. Like I said, it's you guys are posting it. There's on Eventbrite. It's on a link on my personal Instagram, which is my name. It's Powder Tools, Slash and Burn. It's all there. Come into the shop and click on the link.
Yep.
It's filling up quickly. There are spots left. There's roughly 100 and something spots left for the adults. But this year is going to be different because of what's going on. So book your place to stay. The title sponsors, besides myself, obviously, is like Ride and Dragon is always backing me up. And then Burger Bossman and Mitch, like, so Dave from Backdoor Grill, O'Neill's, and Hey Doing Pizza and Eats. They're helping out the Barley, Justin and Rob and the Commons, where Lex is now. And the boys at Storm Peak, like Zach Wyatt and Rob Schwartz, the brewmaster, and Julie Wyatt's wife, like they're all family, and they have a tap room right by the shop on the mountain. And our buddy Casey owns a bus company called the Bus Stash. He bought a bunch of these older buses and painted them all funny with stereos on them. So he's going to help with that. And where people can go if they're staying at the resort, Casey's going to run shuttles that'll pick you up from Storm Peak bus stop right on Apparel Village, right by the shop, and then drive you downtown right on 7th Street, right in front of like the Commons and all that. And they'll bring you back as well. I'm making wristbands so people know where people are going to be. It's like you'll have specials all weekend. You're there at both Storm Peak, the tap room, the brewery on the west end of town, Dave's How You Doing, which is connected to the brewery of Storm Peak on the west side of town. Then you have Old Town Pub. Sean, that's where the after party is going to be. So he'll be running specials. We got a band for that. The Barley is going to be doing specials all weekend. The Commons is doing specials. Dave from How You Doing, Backdoor, and O'Neill's are doing specials. And on top of it, I am going to do a poker run as well. And so each establishment that is on those wristbands, I'm giving them custom decks of cards with the Slash and Burn logo and their business's logo on it. So anytime you buy something and support who's supporting myself and the contest and the community like they always do, because everybody I just mentioned has always helped and supported the community just like I have, helping me put on fundraisers and raising money for people that can't afford to do that. And having a platform to be able to do it is very special because I grew up on food stamps, corner row home, chain link fence kind of stuff, and had the most love in my life. But we had government cheese and peanut butter. It was great, but I can have a platform to give back. And now when you give back to them, you give back to the community, you get a playing card for each establishment, and you're trying to make your best poker hand throughout the weekend. And whoever has the best hand of poker is going to win something pretty cool. But it can't be doubles in the same place. You can't grab a stack, so it's going to force people to get to at least 5 places. And you get as many cards as you want. You just have to discard the extra ones and make that one hand of 5 in the poker hand. And we're trying to figure out what prize that we're going to donate to that. I mean, DFL, I already have that worked out for dead fucking last for all you people who don't know what that means. And you may or may not have to take a full private snowboard lesson and get filmed, or you cannot slash and burn ever again. So Tracy Allen, who's a very close friend of mine, she runs all the events for the resort. That's my sister, her husband, Carter, that's my guy. I have a very good relationship with everybody, and they're going to make it happen. And people are just giving back, like all the fundraisers that Rob Peterson and Caleb and Biz from 970 and Justin and Rob at the Barley, and like Einfeld, like we all give back, like doing the SOS wax party at Storm Peak bus stop. So all the proceeds go to Snowboard Outreach and Ski Society. We do stuff for search and rescue. We have a Jerry party, so everyone dresses up like Jerry's, and all the money goes to search and rescue. We do a rad party, so we dress up in the summer like Crew Jones, like Rad the movie, and all that goes back to Route County riders, so we can keep building cool bike trails and maintain all that. And that's like Rob Big Agnes, like Nate Bird from Honey Stinger, are like big sponsors. We got Recco and Bob for like search and rescue, but doing all that, and that's what brings the community, and that's what keeps the snowboard community alive. That you give back, and you can't walk down the street that people stop you and high-fiving little kids. They're like, yo, Burton, you know that kid? I'm like, yeah, that kid just dropped like a 32-ounce Pepsi on my floor 2 days ago. I love that kid. He's cool. He's really good with mop. But it's cool, man. Like, there's a lot of good things in the work. Like, it's just like having cool collabs when like the boys at Ride years ago did like the P Tools collab binding. And I've been busting Johan's balls because he started my store. He is the godfather of powder tools.
And still no custom union powder tools binding.
Oh, it's coming, baby.
It better be.
Just wait. And it's a custom, like a full custom, not just like what anybody else got. They just like stamp their logo in the back of like, an off-the-shelf binding. I mean, it's a full build. Like we got to pick out the base plate, the high back, the straps, like all of it. It has our OG logo that Johan came out with in '93 to the current one. So it's like where we started, where we are, 93 till infinity, mofos. And it actually has my buddy Shelters, rest in peace, his handwriting on it. And there will be a very limited exclusive run of those. And Johan gave me a list of people that have to have them. So some people will be butthurt that they won't get a pair, but they're coming. It's just a waiting for them to ship is all. There's some things you're working out, but I don't have anywhere to put them right now. My store's bursting at the seams because I just re-upped.
Oh, you just got the re-up? Yeah. So for anyone that is coming to Slash and Burn, like I should be up there doing rider interviews before people drop. Man on the street stuff. We haven't done that since like 2016.
Yeah.
We used to do stuff like that at SIA and like Bull of the Woods and stuff. So we're going to be up there. TC, you're competing, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go spend the whole day filming interviews with people.
It'd be great, It's like it's going to go off. It's just a good community watching the side bets. There are like a bunch of features that we're going to build that might or might not be questionable because all the title sponsors get to like decide what they want to do with the feature. Last year we had Coot Corner, like it was blown out. I mean, one that Big Jim wants to do from Ride because Penrod, like he used to work at Ride forever. He was really in the strippers and like strip clubs where like a stripper pole, when you come around, if you spin on the stripper pole, every time you spin on the stripper pole, you get 1 second off your time.
Oh God, you can't say that. I'd be over there just like,
yeah, and then like maybe like the Mikey LeBlanc thing that Jim was talking about, like a 20-foot fatty to flatty, see if you can be like Mikey.
Oh God, I'd go for it. I'd be like, fuck my knees.
But we're going to keep it fun. There might be a shortcut too with high consequence to save some time off your thing. And then like the Switch event, it's not mandatory. It's $10. Winner takes all. So it's going to be rad, man. I just bring it all people together. And yours truly gets to be on the mic all day. If you're like, who gave you the mic? I'm like, I did.
I did. I'm gonna do it. So
I'm like, beard off and stuff. He's like, was an Olympian, call him a has-been. He's like, I'm not a has-been. I'm like, are you still on the U.S. Olympic team? He's like, no. I'm like, well, you're a has-been.
Yeah. Hey, I'd rather be a has-been than a never was.
So, and I'm cool with, either, man. It's just all about fun. And if I don't make fun of you, I don't know you or I don't like you, man.
No, that's the way. So anyways, that's the end of March 23rd. 23rd.
Yep. It says registration closes like early March. Right now it's live. Like you need to get on it.
Yeah, there is a link in the description of this.
Friday. 23rd is adult, the big event. 24th Sunday is junior. And there is a special like thing happening on Sunday night for all the head sponsors that Dave wants to do, like cook them a special dinner. So people should need to come up here and get on it, at least come hang out. And we have the big 22-foot pipe, big jump lines back in Basher, like the rail lines back. So just come up. The new Gandhi Wall Blue takes you right to the course. So even if you just want to be a spectator, you can be foot traffic and take the new Gandhi right to the course and come and hang out. We want everybody to hang out and chill with us. I mean, then the awards will be on the main stage at 5:00 in Gandhi Square after the concert. Then we'll go and party downtown at Old Town Pub afterwards. There's a band that Sean got us. And there's like, if you missed this party, like, I'm sorry, you blew it, man. Like, you're going to get to meet the founders, like, of Capita, all these pro riders, all the people that have made this industry what it is right now. It's like going to LBS in a sense where rubbing shoulders with people and realizing like that guy, that girl are actually really cool. That dude is kind of a jerk, but
Mhm.
people are
that's going to be people meeting me. They're going to be like, that guy fucking sucks.
Yeah, we love you. It's fine. I mean, I'm a jerk too. My wife like loves me allegedly, but hey,
on paper she does. You know, I mean, she hasn't divorced you yet, so that's good.
Well, she can't. She makes more money than me. Like, I'll get the alimony.
Yeah, exactly. That's why she loves you on paper.
Oh, dude, I use all that money to put back into the art and make it faster. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I think we're going to wind this down. Thank you for coming on, Bernie. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me, boys. I mean, I love you guys, and this is like, it's an honor to be here. It's nice to chirp with you guys, like, love you and sending business and just keeping it real, like, keeping, like, the honesty. And some people think you're just picking on brands because, like, you don't get hooked up from them or whatever, and that's completely false. I will vouch for that. Same with me with product at my store. Like, everyone's making good stuff. It's just personal preference. You guys keep it real. And for all the people that subscribe to your channel, tell your friends to keep subscribing to this channel because this is real, unbiased stuff from real people that are snowboarders. They don't snowboard. They are snowboarders, just like me and my staff. Like, they were part of the community. They're stuck with it forever. There's no escaping it because they're in for life because that's who they are. It's in their blood. And when they say it's for this person, that person, they really mean it. They can break it down. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but this is real. I really respect what you guys have been doing and bringing people together. People need to hear it, and you guys are real. Like, I love it. Like, it's amazing. And unbiased opinion, it's not sugarcoating, because if you sugarcoat shit, as we all know, nothing gets better. There's nothing worse when a company gives somebody a piece of product to give you their opinion, and you're like, this is great. That doesn't help anybody. Or this sucks. Why does it suck? But you guys are killing it. Like, I love you guys, and it's keep doing it. Just keep doing it. And anytime you want to come on and chirp or like have some guest appearances for me, any of my staff, or even make somebody like Kenny talk about his dingle dongles and his freaking socks and shit.
Fucking Kenny and his rollerblades.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I love to have you guys up there and able to do some interviews, and we can do something cool and collab on something. I would love it, but I just want to hang out with you guys. I mean, I miss you guys, and wish you could see
we miss you
more
too, man. We miss you too.
And anytime, I appreciate you having me. I'll let you guys hit my home. This has lead paint in the walls, what TC says, because I never get hungover. You can't in this house. If the immortal, when there's an apocalypse, there's only going to be 3 people that are left living, and that's going to be Keith Richards, cockroaches, and me. And that's somebody asked me, like Rob Peterson and Caleb the other night, if you can be reincarnated as anything in the world, which come back as like cockroaches. They don't die, and they annoy everybody. Like,
factually true, sir. So, well, once again, thanks for coming on. Thanks to everyone that stayed through this and watched this. I know it was a little bit of a different live stream for what we do. I think Sunday night I'll just do a Q&A one for everyone so that we can answer everyone's gear questions for the weeks. But thank you again for this, Bernie, and
of course, man.
Thanks to everyone that tuned in, and we'll see you guys later.
Yeah, come to Slashbur.
Thank you, Bernie.
Thank you, guys.
Love you, dog.
Love you.
Later, guys.